Olakau'atu and Ben Trbojevic, the second rowers, and Jake Trbojevic is the lock forward. Their six-man bench is Joey Walsh, Kobe Hetherington, the big name signing from Brisbane, Ethan Bullymore, Nathan Brown, Clayton Farlolo, and in jumper number 20 is Corey Waddell. The referee for this one is Liam Kennedy. The touch judges Dan Luttringer and John Stone. We are just about underway. Dino, who we got?
If I could see the teams, I'll pick one at the moment. There's quite a bit of smoke in the field, but I think that the Raiders can sneak up here and get it done at Fortune Brookvale.
What about you, Roo?
Well, once all of this fog clears, I think Manly will be home by 2 points today. A very tight game. I know the forward pack for the Raiders is so strong, but I just think Tommy Turbo in full health, at full pelt, is going to be a big difference for the home side today.
Yes, thanks, Roo. To paint a picture, we saw this in the pre-game as well. The fireworks went off when the Raiders were warming up and they were putting up bombs and couldn't see a thing. And now a combination of the smoke from the fireworks and the rain means that it's hanging around, and we've got both teams standing out there waiting for it to clear. We are going to kick off now. The Raiders towards the southern end of Brookvale Oval. They're running from left to right on your radio dial, and it's well taken in the clouds by the Sea Eagles. Siwa Takiaho will have the first hit up of the 2026 season for the Manly Warringah Sea Eagles. They are playing, by the way, in their maroon top, white bottom jersey. If you can think back to the mid-90s and their soft drink inspired jerseys, of course, making the grand finals in 95, 96 and 97. And they spread it left hand side now, and Lehigh Hopewadi almost makes a break, but he's brought down by Xavier Savage, 11 away from the halfway line. And Ben Trbojevic is met high, coming over the top with Starling, gives away the first penalty, and the Sea Eagles will kick for touch about 9 metres short of the halfway line. No score after a minute.
Well, great start from the Manly Sea Eagles. They're electing to shift the ball early to the left-hand side, and the conditions, as we said, it's raining quite heavily. They weren't afraid to put it through the hands all the way to the winger in Hopewadi, who made some decent metres, and then they get the penalty, put themselves on the attack straight away.
This is NRL Saturday on ABC Sports in Hallertau, Rowan Sims. I'm Glenn Lauder. 0467 920 222 is the text line. Siwa Takiaho from the first hit up after the penalty is 10 inside Raiders territory, and then the Sea Eagles go left, finding themselves 35 metres away from the Canberra line, and Paseka gets up and plays it at dummy half. Simpkin, they go right, linking up with Brooks. It's a short ball, but the referee and the touch judges are happy with it as Brooks get that short ball away, and finally the Raiders are able to get Olakau'atu on the deck. It took them an age, and they do get 6 again here, the Sea Eagles. Takiaho now 20 away from the Raiders line. Good attacking opportunity here for Manly as they have a full set 20 metres away from Canberra's line. Jake Trbojevic in the heavy headgear after all those concussion issues. They're spinning it left to Tolutaukola, and he has the ball 11 away from the line, 15 in from the western touchline. It almost went through Simpkins' legs, but he managed to pick it up and get it away to Tom Trbojevic. Tom has it 5 away from the line, 20 in from the western touchline. They come to the right. Jake is it a wide first receiver. Gets it away. Fogarty almost has Olakau'atu through a hole, but Olakau'atu's wrapped up 5 away from the line. They go again on top of him, and they'll get 6 again. I think it was Ethan Strange who gave that 6 again away. Another full set here for the Sea Eagles. No score, 2.5 gone at Brookie. Simpkins waiting at dummy half as Siwa Takiaho plays it. Left-hand side, Tom. Quick hands from Cole and Lehigh Hopewadi, but he was running out of space, so he goes back inside, and Hopewadi has it 9 away from the line, 15 in from the western touchline, play 2. Fogarty cuts out 1, gets it away to Jake. On it goes now to Luke Brooks. Keeps it alive for Ruben Garrick, and Garrick has it 9 away from the line, 12 in from the eastern touchline now. In front of a pack, Brookie Hill. Umbrellas everywhere. Left-hand side they come. Brooks, Tom. Tom takes it to the line. Dummies goes himself, and the new captain scores the first try of the season for the Manly Warringah Sea Eagles. 10 in from the western touchline. They were throwing it from both sides. In the end, it went from east to west, and Tom Trbojevic scores for Manly. They lead 4 points to nil with a kick to come, and we've had 3.5 minutes of play.
Yeah, they've certainly started with a lot of intent, the home team, Manly Sea Eagles, and it's shift to shift, as you said. On each time they play the ball, they go left, they go right, they come back to the left on a full field shift. And who'd have guessed it, but their captain and number one, Tom Trbojevic, I should say, gets across for their first try of the evening and to open up their season.
And what a record he has against the Raiders. He's scored in the last 2. He's now got 17 in 14, including 2 hat-tricks. Ruwan Sims, you were talking about it off air, and in fact in the preview, how exciting it is to see a fit Tommy Turbo.
Yeah, it certainly is, and I was having a chat to Kieran Foran earlier as well, the Manly brand new assistant coach for this year, and he was saying that he is the fittest he's ever seen Tom Trbojevic, and he's been chomping at the bit to get back out onto the field. And you can see straight away his involvements were in there right from the get-go. That whole first set of 6, they moved the ball side to side, like you said. They travelled up the field, but also off the back of some ill-discipline of the Raiders, they really made them pay.
What an off-season Turbo's had, getting married a couple of weeks ago as well. So it's all positive for Tommy at the moment. He's got his first try of the season. He scored a double on debut against the Raiders as well, all the way back in 2015. Now Jamal Fogarty, 9 in from the western touchline. He makes no mistakes. 1 from 1 for the replacement for Daly Cherry Evans. Of course, Ruben Garrick has been taken, or had the goal kicking taken away from him. Ruben Garrick's last season in maroon and white before he heads off to the Roosters and joining his former halfback. But the Manly Sea Eagles are off to a positive start. 4-0, 0467 920 222. Stupid fireworks. $10,000 reward to the first broadcaster who can answer why they're needed at the footy. Well, they add to the occasion, don't they, Gus? Thank you for that. Rutherford Rooster, I go for 2 teams, the Roosters and anyone playing Canberra. $20 says Tommy gets an injury tonight. Let's hope not. And Estee Dean and Ms. Sims, great to hear you all again, I believe. Rue is the best footy analyst going around, only a split hair behind Joey Eamon in Logan. Thank you very much for that. Thank you to Dion for your text. And Filthy Phil, Dino, of course, your biggest fan, as Manly get another penalty. The Raiders inside the 10, 21 metres away from the Sea Eagles line.
Yeah, they're scrambling a bit in defence here, the Raiders, and through the first set where points were scored against them, they're just leaving the person on the ground, and it's enabling the Manly Sea Eagles to get quick rucks, and they're trying to win it back and forcing the issue a little bit. It's resulting in piggybacks.
Now, if you are listening on 666 ABC Canberra, we'll give you plenty of updates from the Brumbies game, but there's nothing to talk about now between the Brumbies and the Reds because that game has been delayed by lightning in the capital. So stay safe down there. There might have been a high shot on Tolutau-Kola, but the referee is happy for play to continue. That game is available on ABC Sport Digital, but of course there's nothing doing at the moment, and we'll keep you up to date with what's happening in that one. We'll keep going around the grounds throughout the evening as well. Paseka has it for Manly, 30 away from the Raiders line. They go right. Luke Brooks gets it away to Tommy Trbojevic. He's looking for a way through. He's got the goal line in his sights tonight, doesn't he, Turbo, after scoring the first try. Simkin out at dummy half. Short right-hand side for Olakau'atu, and Olakau'atu's 5 away from the line. Raiders under pressure again here. It's the last play. Manly will come left. Luke Brooks will kick across field. Turbo's coming through again. He misses it. Going up there and taking the catch is his brother Ben, but they're saying it was knocked forward by the Raiders, and Manly will get a scrum feed, I think 10 metres away from the line, or is he saying it was knocked back from Manly and it'll be a Canberra changeover? I think that's my...
No, you're right the first time. I think it's going to be a Manly feed. He called it knocked forward off the Raiders, but again, the Seagulls, they just pour down the field with great ruck speed, and they put themselves in a really good position for that crossfield kick. Luke Brooks did really well because there was a bunch of pressure coming at him right on the spot. Great chase and good attempt at catching the ball.
Yeah, the referee's signal was sort of like, it was looking like a knockback signal, but it was because of the way he was facing, and it was a knock on to the Raiders. So he's not happy with the way this scrum is being packed, so he's having a word to the front rowers. It's almost like it's 1987 again. And final combatants as Manly win the scrum now. Left-hand side, Tolu-Kola. He goes himself, and he's brought to ground by 3 Raiders players. 10 in from the western touchline and 9 away from the goal line. Manly leading 6 points to nil after 7.5. They come right. Brooks has to jump up to try to catch that one. He does successfully. They lose a little bit of momentum, and they will take the tackle through Paseka, 20 away from the line. Left Brooks changes direction for Ben to go back into traffic through the middle, and Ben Trebojevic is brought to ground 11 away from the line, adjacent to the left-hand upright. They'll get 6 again here, Manly. Geez, the Raiders need to be careful that they keep 13 players on the field at the moment, because LK is probably starting to lose his patience as they go right now, Manly, with a full set of 6 at the Raiders line and leading 6 points to 0 as well. The home side. Simpkin is waiting at dummy half. They come left-hand side. Paseka close to the line. There's 4 players there to stop him. Getting up slowly to play the ball is Paseka under a whole heap of Raiders players, including Papali'i. They come right now, Manly. Fogarty takes it to the line, holds it, gets it away to Saab. There's going to be another 6 again here. Tom Trebojevic goes back towards the post, and a lifting tackle there above the horizontal. They're coming in from everywhere. Oh, this is on. They are flying in. With their punches thrown, I'm not sure, but they were certainly not happy, the Sea Eagles, with that tackle on Tom Trebojevic. It didn't look the worst, but it was certainly above the horizontal. He drove into the ground, and there could be more than just a penalty here, Dino. 6-0, 9 gone.
Yeah, so got the shoulder in, didn't he, Joe Tarpany, and he upends Tom Trebojevic, and I agree with you. It wasn't hugely past the horizontal. It was definitely over there. He was quite close to the ground, and the reaction of the Manly players was to go to bat for their skipper. Olakawadu comes in and pushes him off, and then in comes the Raiders players to combat that. A lot of push and shove. I don't think there was any punches thrown. They'll be reviewing that in the bunker right now.
Plenty for LK to do, Roo.
Yeah, certainly is. He's pulling out a few players to have a chat. We'll see if we can listen in.
Okay. Tom, yeah, but let's have a chat to him now, yep? All right, Joseph, it's a penalty for a dangerous tackle. You're on your last warning here. You need to address it now. I understand you haven't had the ball, but your discipline is not good enough. Clean it up now, or you know what's going to happen. It's still a tackle.
That's pretty fair and concise from Liam Kennedy. I agree with him on that one. They need to tidy things up there. And I agree, penalty sufficient on this one. I don't think it needs to be put on report. And Olakawatu was being spoken to as well for coming in as third player in.
Yeah, you heard LK at the start there say to Tom Trebojevic, you need to go and have a word to him. That's who he was talking about with Olakawatu, Dino.
Yeah, it was good comms there from Liam Kennedy, but Manly electing to go for the 2 points, which is obviously 2 points on the board, but this is probably good for the Raiders in terms of that discipline. It'll give them time to reset, have a conversation amongst each other, and really settle things down. You can see Joe Tarpany going back to the referee, trying to get a bit of clarity around what's going on at the moment.
You've played a lot more footy than me, of course, premiership winner and New Zealand international. It surprises me that Manly have taken the foot off the throat a little bit here.
Yeah, well, I guess just get an extra 2 points. I know they've already scored a try, but 8 points is a nice little buffer when you feel like there's a bit of wet weather and it could be a close game.
Fogarty pretty much right in front. He's in line with the right-hand upright at this northern end of Brookvale Oval, of course, with the new stand, and he launches it straight into that new stand where the touch judges' flags go up, and Manly lead 8 points to 0 with 10 minutes gone. 0467 920 222. Hello, team of the Raiders. Had the ball yet? I mean, it feels like they haven't. I don't think they have actually.
I don't think they have,
because they kicked off, yeah, they haven't touched it all. Thanks, Janine from Indooroopilly. Roo is a legend. Was our number 1 fan. Thanks, Filthy Phil. We got that one earlier. 0467 920 222. Around the grounds in the AFL, Brisbane leading Western Bulldogs 2 straight 12 to 1 behind. And as I said, that Brumbies Reds game delayed by lightning. Australia 6 for 263 on the second day of the women's cricket test against India after bowling the Indians out for 198. Annabelle Sutherland has picked up her 4th test 100, the only Australian woman to do so. Back here, Manly had the ball after the restart through Lehigh Hopewadi. They go one off the ruck right-hand side for Takiaho, and he's brought to ground 15 away from the line. The Raiders need to keep Manly down here. The last 2 sets after points, the kick-off and then the try, they gave away penalties to give piggybacks up the ground. They need to avoid that here. Fogarty at first receiver, right-hand side, Olakawatu bounces off a couple there, and you hear the Manly fans enjoying that one. But the Raiders players wrap him up in the end, 27 away from Manly's line, and 15 in from the eastern touchline as Jason Saab comes in off his wing. I mentioned earlier earlier. Game number 100 for the Sea Eagles, of course, making his debut back in the day with the Dragons. And Luke Brooks kicks from inside 40. It's a little too straight. Kaio Weeks against his former club touches the ball for the Raiders for the first time, and he's dragged back about 6 or 7 metres by a really good chase by the Sea Eagles, 11 metres away from the Raiders line, and now they had the chance to do something with the ball, Dino.
Yeah, well, they finally get the ball, but just looking up now, there's 4 or 5 players still struggling to get back behind the ball. They're finally there on play 3, so the energy levels are well and truly depleted for the Raiders at the moment.
That is 8 straight sets to Manly. They completed every single one of them. Of course, a couple of them leading to penalties and a try, and they got to that kick there to give the Raiders the ball finally. It is the last play, and Canberra will have to kick from just outside 40 through Sanders. He puts a high one-up testing serve, takes it well, 10 away from his own goal line and returning it for the Sea Eagles up over the 20, and he's brought to ground 26 away, 10 in from the eastern touchline. So they come open side left now. Garrick finds himself at first receiver, goes to Brooks, and then on it goes to Lehigh Hopewadi, who takes the tackle 33 away from his own goal line, and now 19 in from this western touchline. He plays the ball and they go open side right now, and that's a good strong run there up over the 40-metre line to within 6 of halfway by Kola. Plays it for Simkin, one off the ruck right-hand side for Takiaho, and Takiaho takes the ball into Raiders territory by about 2 metres. Simkin goes short out of dummy half for Ben Trebojevic, and Ben has it, it's Tom actually, about 35 away from the line on the last. Brooks will go to the skies, and it is a contest but taken well by Savage. He beats Hopewadi out, gets up, goes again, Savage, and he takes the tackle 30 away from his own goal line. So a better defensive set there than Raiders there, and the referee is saying 6 again, but he gets a call from his touch judge, and it's the right one, saying that Savage loses the ball as he gets up to play the ball. Are they going to challenge this, Dino, do you think?
I don't think so, because I think Savage was unsure himself. He was hoping that the referee didn't see it or that the touch judges didn't see it, but Ruan was right in front of him. She might have seen whether or not touched the turf clearly.
Rue, did you give him the call?
Yeah, I did actually. I said, okay, listen, mate, there was a little knock on there, just a little bobble. You can just see it was a great take under pressure, but there was a lot of weight in that tackle, and as he gets up, he's trying to play it quickly. It just bumps the knee of Takiaho and just trickles loose, and that's where obviously that lost ball is. But what a great position on the field here for the Eagles to attack from.
Yeah, Savage did all the hard work, didn't he? Now, once again, Liam Kennedy is not happy with the way the scrum's packed, so they're going to have to repack it. Wonder if the referee spoke about packing scrums properly in 2026. He's happy with this one now. Simpkins at the base, he goes right to Fogarty. Yeah, it's really disappointing by the Raiders because they'd finally got the ball in their hands. Savage made the break and dropped it as he got up and played it. Manly are attacking. Jake Trebojevic 20 away. Left-hand side, Brooks. Kohler dummies, goes himself. Gets up, goes again, but Sasangi holds on and takes the tackle 11 away from the line. Here is Ben Trebojevic. He straightens on his run and he's 6 metres away from the Raiders line. 15 metres in from the western touchline. Manly leading 8 points to 0. 15 gone in this one. Short ball from Fogarty to Olakawatu. Those two have linked up well tonight so far, and Olakawatu is having to get up off his back there slowly. So they get set in defence here, the Raiders, and Paseka on the final play takes it to within 3. Left-hand side they come. Jake Trebojevic, Luke Brooks. Short Kohler goes without it forward, loses the ball, and the Raiders will get a change over. 10 away from their own goal line and 15 in from the western touchline, with Manly leading 8 points to 0.
Yeah, well, they scrambled well on that play, the Raiders, and you see Luke Brooks, he's looking for his fullback there, and Trebojevic out the back, but uses him as a decoy in this occasion and tries to send Kohler through, but the defence from the Raiders read it well, get the pressure on and force the error. But I love the way that Manly are playing at the moment. They're sending their edges straight at the halves of the Raiders and tying them up, and when they shift back the other side, they're getting plenty of joy.
I know Peter V'landys has talked about taking games to Singapore. It feels like we're in Singapore at the moment. Ruan said that the humidity was 93%. It feels like 9,300%. As Papali'i takes it up over the 40-metre line, and he's brought to ground 5 short of halfway. Canberra looking to find their way into Manly's half. For the first time this game, we're almost a quarter of the way through it. And as soon as they get in, they give the ball away. The offload from Tarpany goes straight to a Manly player on the ground, Luke Brooks. Oh, the Raiders are shooting themselves in the foot here at Brookie and they've given the ball away. Tarpany's Fairningham taking it 1.5 metres into Manly's half for the first time this evening, and then throws it straight to Brooks. So the Sea Eagles have it in Canberra territory once again. 39 away, 20 in from the western touchline. They might give 6 again away here. No, they don't. Ben Trebojevic gets up and plays it. Jake now back on the inside, and Kobe Hetherington is on the park for the Sea Eagles. That is a really good signing from Brisbane. The premiership winner, left-hand side numbers, Sea Eagles, Lehigh Hopewadi. Great defensive tackle there, coming across in cover. Sasangi saves the try. Tom's at dummy half, goes right for Luke Brooks. Fogarty, the cross kick, trying to find Jason Saab. He's 7'9". It goes backwards, picked up by Olakawatu, scores! Liam Kennedy is going to signal 6 again. It came off a Raider in the collision. Flying high was Sevilio Tamale, but he's not big enough. And Saab was able to bat it back, get it inside for Olakawatu, scoring Manly's second try of the evening. And they lead 12 points to nil with 23 minutes to go in this first half and a kick to come.
Yeah, again, when the Seagulls get on the attack and they shift the ball, they're creating all sorts of opportunities. A really important tackle, a try saver, as you said, from Sasangi, who's probably outmatched for pace in the outside backs, but he grasped Hopewadi immediately on the last play. The Seagulls look to their right. Jamal Fogarty puts up a brilliant kick to his winger coming through, as you said, Saab. He's got the height advantage. Tamale did a good job to try and pinch the ball or get it out of their hands, but the bat back, and then in comes Olakawatu. He streams onto the ball. It's always going to be very hard to stop him from that distance.
It's a hammer blow, isn't it, Rue? Because the Raiders were slowly trying to wrestle their way back into it, but this has just put a dagger through the heart.
Well, again, it was just a little bit of ill discipline. As you heard, they tried to force an offload and they gave up possession straight into the attacking half. They had just been defending for the whole, what's this game been going for, about 18 minutes. They've defended for basically that whole period of time. You can just see some of the frustration. Now, my only concern is here, does this touch Saab and then touch a Raiders defender in the air? As long as that's clear.
Well, he was facing backwards, I feel as though, anyway.
Yeah,
so.
no, we're all good.
Yeah.
We're all good. Play on. But yeah, I thought it was a miss kick originally by Fogarty, but I did tell you what, Saab did beautifully, as did Olakawatu, to scoop that up on the fly in this weather.
Yeah, full credit to Fogarty, because it was a high-risk move, wasn't it? The cross kick, but it paid off for the Sea Eagles. And he started well against his former club. He has the opportunity to make it 3 from 3. Of course, a conversion and a penalty goal so far. He's 10 in from the eastern touchline, Fogarty. Moving in now, hits this one. The touch judges watch it. They're virtually unmoved. The flags go up again. 14 points to nil. The Sea Eagles lead the Raiders on NRL Saturday here on ABC Sport. Great to have your company. Ruan Sims, Dean Hallertau, I'm Glenn Lauder. 0467 920 222. Paris is loving it. Great calling of the game, guys. Thank you, Paris. Great to see the season underway. Looking forward to the calls. And hopefully Manly stepping up the ladder, says Mark in Mystery Bay. And Billy in Brisbane says changing coaches at the Titans is like rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. Thank you for that, Billy. Keep them coming. In the AFL, first quarter, Brisbane 13 leading Western Bulldogs 10, and play still delayed due to lightning in that Super Rugby game between the Brumbies and the Reds. Good to have your company if you're listening on ABC Canberra on 666, but unfortunately for the Raiders at the moment, we are unable to report too much good news. Trailing 14 points to nil, and Kobe Hetherington for the Sea Eagles in possession again, 21 away from the Manly goal line as they come away from their own end again after points through Paseka. The offload to Simpkin, tries to get another offload away. That one was unsuccessful, and it's a lost ball from Jake Simpkin. The Raiders come in and do a bit of pushing and shoving, but it's more about celebrating themselves because the Raiders will get a scrum feed only 29 metres away from the line, Dina.
Press the red button. Really important set here for the Raiders. They need to control possession. They need to at least get to a kick and try and finish their set in some good position, I should say. Just watching Josh Papali'i's coming from the field. I can see the HIA card getting ready as Morgan Smithies is about to take the field. So something picked up there from the doctors, and we'll have 15 minutes to be assessed.
Yeah, we'll get Rue to keep an eye on that one. Geez, that would be a disaster for the Raiders if they lose Josh Papali'i for the rest of this this one. He doesn't look too uncomfortable, but of course that'll be in the hands of the Docs. And they do win the scrum. 30 away from Manly's line. Sebastian Chris takes it to within 23. He's 10 in from the eastern touchline. Let's see how Manly's red zone defence does here as the Raiders go on the charge through the Kangaroo. Hudson Young gets up and plays at 15 away from Manly's line. Coming to the right-hand side, Tarpany changes direction, and now Morgan Smithies has the ball 11 away from the line, centre field. Once again, Starling, dummy half, left. Sanders back on the inside, the Raiders, and Sanders still going there, getting it away on this occasion to Smithies. Smithies has the ball 10 short of Manly's line, centre field again. Starling, dummy half. Sanders, 6 again. Great ball back on the inside. They might not need the 6 again. The referee is going to say it's knocked on by Noah Martin over the line, I believe. The Raiders are celebrating.
No tackles in a tackle 1 off 10 metres. Just check for grounding. If it's a no try, we're coming back for 10-metre penalty.
Okay, so the Raiders will get a penalty regardless here because Manly were inside the 10, but Noah Martin's lost the ball over the line, Dino.
Yeah, I thought he bounced it. He's celebrating like he scored the try. It was a really good effort in contact, spinning and trying his best to get to the line. He reaches the ball carrying arm out, which is his left arm. It looked to be a bounce live.
This replay from
was right there.
Oh, there's grounding. It's a shot.
Oh, yeah.
Takes possession and has downward pressure on the ball here. We have a decision.
His confidence wasn't misplaced.
Noah Martin in just his 7th NRL game has his 3rd try, and the Raiders are back in it. 14 points to 4 with a kick to come from about 15 in from the western touchline, Dino.
Yeah, and you heard the referee call 10 metres during the middle of that play, but Martin runs a really solid line. It's a short ball that he runs off the inside of Sanders, and then he just steps through some contact, finds a bit of space, keeps on going, and Seagulls just didn't really hit the emergency switch early enough. He gets the arm across the line. I probably didn't expect he was going to reach out the way he did, and it looks to be a bounce, but on that replay we've seen he get the ball down across the line.
Well, that would be really encouraging for the Raiders, Roo, because it has proven that as soon as they get in right areas, they get rewards.
Yeah, absolutely they do, and they've got this ability within them to be able to do this, and that was just a really nicely run play and great individual strength there by Martin, just to pull through those tackles. It was a lot of arms tackles by the Sea Eagles, and to plant that ball over the line, he's not a fibber. He knew he got it down.
Only made his starting debut in the last round against the Dolphins, of course, when they got done by 60, and Ricky rested all of his players. As Sanders adds the extras from 20 in from the western touchline. Yeah, he's won a starting spot this evening over Zach Hosking. He's a real try scorer as well, is Noah Martin, because he scored 15 in 19 New South Wales Cup matches last year. So certainly knows how to find the line, and he's found one to start the season in 2026. And Manly leading 14 points to 6 now over the Raiders around the grounds in the AFL. Brisbane leading Western Bulldogs 13-11 in the opening round, and 0467 920 222 is the text line. Crying out loud after the severe weather warning is sent us to Manly, not returned to Brumbies. Fix up your streams, says Jeff. Okay, thank you for that feedback, but I can tell you, Jeff, that game is still delayed by lightning, so I'm sure the Boffins back at HQ will be sorting out the stream so you can listen to that Brumbies game as soon as it gets underway. Graham from Taree, how good is it to have the best game in the world back? It certainly is, Graham, thank you. And the Raiders had the ball from the first plays after points, and that strong collision there, Sydney Sasangi. You saw the rain that had been collecting on the players fly everywhere during that collision, and now Morgan Smithies has it for the Raiders, 21 away from his line, and they come up over the 30-metre line now, backing into traffic and taking the tackle 15 short of the halfway line. Getting up and playing it now is Horsburgh. And that's a good little run there as well by Starling out of dummy half. He gets up, tries to go again, takes the tackle of Brooks a metre short of the halfway line in the last. So Strange will kick down the right-hand channel. It's taken by Tom Trebojevic, 20 away from his line. And the Sea Eagles now need to get the ball back in their hands after a little period of dominance by the Raiders.
Yeah, you mentioned before, Glenn, about the Raiders, and when they get that opportunity, they can convert. They showed through that set just then coming off the back of points that they've got a lot of football in them. They can power forward and get some quick play the balls, and they're starting to get themselves back into the contest.
Former New Zealand international and West Tigers premiership winner Dean Hallertau, and now a penalty to the Manly Seagulls. Another high shot, 10 short of the halfway line, 20 in from the eastern touchline, and that was killing the Raiders in the first 15 or so, and now they've given another piggyback away just as they were looking to get back into the arm wrestle touchline. Ruban Sims.
Well, it's probably worth mentioning for the people at home, with the change in the halves at the Raiders, with Ethan Sanders starting, both halves have switched sides. So Ethan Sanders is in the left-hand side half, and Ethan Strange is on the right, whereas Ethan was on the left last year.
Thank you, Roo. Jillaroos and Wallaroos, dual international. We've got plenty of internationals in our ABC Sport coverage here on NRL Saturday. Good to have your company. Manly have it 20 away from the Raiders line. 14 points to 6, the Seagulls lead. 17 minutes to go in the first half. Left-hand side, they come through Brooks. Back on the inside to Tom Trbojevic. Heads back towards the ruck. Still going, Tom Trbojevic scores! Right next to the left-hand upright. He's got a double, although Liam Kennedy's not happy.
No try. Confirm there's an obstruction.
Okay, so because Turbo ran back through that congested ruck area, we think that maybe some Raiders defenders have been denied an opportunity there, Dino.
Yeah, Tom Starling actually gets caught.
Let's have a listen.
Tom runs behind both of them now, denying the Canberra players an opportunity to push forward and defend. This is an obstruction. We have a decision.
Chris Butler in the video referee's box. Doesn't take too long to reach his decision, Dino.
Yeah, a bit of a sigh of relief there for the Raiders, because their cover back on the inside was actually quite slack beyond those players, but they were denied an opportunity to get forward, and that's where he went to, that gap that was presented. So the Raiders will get the ball back, and as I said, they breathe a sigh of relief.
14 points to 6. Manly leading the Raiders with just under 17 to go in the first half. 0467 920 222 is the text line. Glenn Lauder, Dean Hallertau and Ruban Sims here at Brookvale Oval on NRL Saturday, after earlier a huge win for the Cronulla Sharks, racking up 50 points against the Gold Coast Titans this afternoon. So worrying signs for the new coach Josh Hannay at the Gold Coast after that big defeat at the hands of the Cronulla Sharks this afternoon. But Canberra had the ball back here. It's a massive collision. Jason Saab coming in off his wing to absolutely clean up Kyo Weeks, his former teammate. And now Canberra had the ball a metre short of halfway through. Tarpany plays the ball for Starling, left-hand side he goes, and the Raiders are now back in Manly territory once again. They'll take the tackle 35 away from the line. Getting up and playing it is Hudson Young. They get 6 again as well, and now they'll start with a full set, 20 away from Manly's line. The last time they were here, they scored. They might get another one here. Starling with ground, but they said he fell over, he wasn't pushed. Now it's Martin, the try scorer. Noah Martin's 19 away from Manly's line. 20 in from the western touchline, trailing 14-6. Here's Horsburgh. Takes it to within 10 of the southern goal line at Brookvale Oval. Starling waiting at dummy half. Left-hand side, short ball, Young. Great ball out the back to Hudson Young, and he loses it forward. Kyo Weeks lands on it. It was Hudson Young tackled without the ball.
The Canberra Raiders player is not held without the ball.
It was a half.
Yeah, sorry, Morgan Smithies plays a great pass, but yeah, was he tackled before he got it then?
It was only half a claim, I think, by Hudson Young. It's hard to see. It's so far away, the big screen here.
No, I've got the binoculars out. No, I reckon he's...
Young touches the ball before any contact from Ruben Garrick. He then knocks the ball on.
It's a Falcon off Turbo. And then Kyo Weeks puts his hand on it, but
we have a decision.
I think this will be a knock-on in the field of play, and it'll be a scrum. Yeah. So a 10-metre scrum, and yeah, it sort of bounced off Hudson Young's right arm just before Ruben Garrick made contact. So good call there by the officials again. Right for Liam Kennedy to check it out.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was like a bit of a half-hearted claim there by Hudson Young. He could sort of feel the presence of the defender, and it would have happened so quickly, but the right decision in the end, and Manly now with some difficult tasks of coming off their own line.
Yeah, they lead 14 points to 6. There's 15 left in this first half. Even Bullymore goes on a run for Manly now. Brought to ground 20 away from his own line in centre field. Plays it for Simpkin. One up the ruck, right-hand side now. Kobe Hetherington has the ball 27 away. 20 in from the eastern touchline. Simpkin scoots out at dummy half, and he makes it to within 10 of halfway. Good run from Jake Simpkin. And now Fogarty goes into dummy half. He goes left to Jake Trebojevic. Oh, Brooks is taken high. He was going to ground, and Tarpany threw the arm out. Got him, I thought, maybe higher than the shoulder, but the referee was happy with it. Maybe it looked awkward because Brooks was going to ground. He plays the ball. They go right now for Jake Trebojevic, and Jake is 4 metres short of halfway on play 5. So they'll come left for Brooks to kick, down to this left-hand side of Manly's chase, and the right wing of the Raiders. It's a good take by Savage. Sends it back inside for Kyo Weeks. That's a strong return. Also good defending to bring Weeks down. They give 6 again away here again, Manly. And the Raiders will start another full set. They're 25 away from their own goal line. They trail 14 points to 6 with 14 minutes to go on NRL Saturday here on ABC Sport. Canberra 31 away from their own goal line. Getting up and playing the ball is Tamale. They go back into the middle of the park, and 21 away from the western touchline, and 10 short of halfway is Chris. Now short, one off the ruck goes Morgan Smithies. He's a metre short of halfway, right in the middle of Brookvale Oval as the light rain continues to fall. It is much lighter now than it had been around about kick-off, and the Raiders have the ball through Noah Martin, 10 inside Manly's territory, but it's the last. So Strange puts the high kick up down the right-hand channel of the Raiders, and Tom Trebojevic comes across to the left. Takes a good take, 15 away from his own goal line. Manly 14, Canberra 6, 13 to go first half.
Yeah, well, the Raiders have certainly worked themselves back into this game, but you can see the effects of the early energy drain that they had as Manly look to go expansive here. Look, they're just bunched up in their attack. They're not really getting much shape. They're running strong, but it is very one out from them at the moment.
Yeah, it was a really good offload by Lehigh Hopewadi. I thought Manly were going to be able to get something out of it, but Canberra's defence rallied, and now another play down the line is Jason Saab, taking it to within 3 of the halfway line. He gets up and plays it 20 in from the eastern touchline. They come left for Jake Trebojevic, gets it away to Luke Brooks, and now Tom Trebojevic to Kohler, who tries to bat it on. It goes backwards for Hopewadi. Then he has to go to ground because otherwise he was going to get bundled over the western touchline. Final play for Manly. Kohler might not know it. He almost got tackled with the ball. Brooks loses it backwards. It's picked up and dived on by Manly, but it is the last. 5 metres inside Raiders territory, and I think Tolutau Kohler didn't realise it was the last, and then as soon as he did, had to rush it away.
No, he didn't. And just watching the replay, Canberra actually did a really good job to hustle and try and put extra pressure on Luke Brooks as the man who was going back to try and get the kick away. Ethan Bullimore, I should say, did the right thing by falling on it, but it does put Canberra in a good position.
I tell you what, if Liam Kennedy or myself get names confused, you just call him Ethan, because there's 1,000 Ethans out there this evening, and this time it is Morgan Smithies with the ball for the Canberra Raiders. 2 halves. I reckon the Statos, David Middleton, will know if there were ever 2 halves called Ethan in the same team. I guarantee there wouldn't have been. Simi Sasangi has the ball now, 26 metres away from Manly's line, trailing 14 points to 6. Less than 12 to go first half. Horsburgh, Ethan Sanders gets it away to Hudson Young, left-hand side, Chris. On it goes now for Tamale. He comes in off his wing to try to get away from that touch line and goes to ground after the tackle of Ruben Garrick and Jason Saab. He'll get up and play the ball 20 away from the line. They come open side right. Kyo Weeks gets it away now to Horsburgh. He straightens on his run and takes a steadying hit up to the 20-metre line, centre field. It is play 5 for the Raiders. Starling, left-hand side, going to Chris, getting my hookers mixed up now. Chris loses the ball. It's knocked down by Manly, and it is going to be a Raiders ball with a scrum 10 metres away from the line. So Chris, it went backwards out of his hands and then knocked down by Manly.
Yeah, I think this is one of those ones like they looked like they had done a good job to shut it down, the Manly Seagulls, and then Fogarty can't help but play it the pass back on the inside. Has a swat, knocks it to the ground, and it'll give the Raiders that next opportunity to attack their line.
Yeah, I don't think you can be too unfair on Fogarty there. Like, he has to kind of put the hand out and stop it, but unfortunately it means that it's 6 again for the Raiders. 10 away from Manly's line. They're trailing 14-6, the Green Machine. Left-hand side for Strange at the base of the scrum. Ethan Strange back on the inside for Sasangi. I should have just called him Ethan. And Sasangi has the ball 4 away from the line. Goes to ground, adjacent to the right-hand upright. Starling waiting at dummy half. Left-hand side, he goes Tarpany. Going towards the line. Can they keep Joey Tarpany out? I don't think they can. Is Liam Kennedy going to say he was short, or maybe a double movement?
Just confirm the ball doesn't get to the line.
Okay, short. I saw it bounce, but I thought that was momentum. I thought the double movement was okay, but he might be short here, Tarpany.
Yeah, I'm with you. I
Clear all
thought
the
it was
contact from the Manly defenders.
short of the line, and
Ball's initially grounded short by Joseph Tarpany. Just see if he gets to the line at any point.
Nah, I don't think he does on that replay, does he? It's a hard replay to tell from that one low to the ground.
it looks like he fights the temptation as well to try and promote the ball, although where he ends up.
Let's say Yerewan, Sims.
Well, he actually ends up in the in goal, but the video referee is going to need
We'll be supporting the on-field decision. The ball
we
short of
need
the line.
big information to overturn that. But big news, unfortunately, Papali'i out. Did not pass his HIA. He's out for the night for the Canberra Raiders.
That is huge, isn't it, for Canberra? Josh Papali'i playing in potentially what could be his last season, signing that new one-year deal, but just confirming that Joey Tarpany was short of the line, so they'll continue the count. Here Sanders gets a short ball away to Chris, and Sebastian Chris is a metre away from the line, getting up and playing it on play 4. Starling will go short. He shaped to go short. Came back open side for Sanders. Back on the inside, Smithies. And Smithies has the ball about 8 away from the line in the tackle. Starling dummy half, left-hand side. Kicking through is Hudson Young, and Manly had to get there quickly and land on the ball in the in goal to deny the Raiders, who were flying through trying to get their hands on it. That was really good work in the in goal by Hetherington. It'll be a Manly goal line dropout, but he saved a certain try.
Yeah, it was great heads-up play there from Canberra on the last. They go out to Hudson Young, who you wouldn't expect to be the first point for a kick, but Ethan Sanders was calling back on the inside, so a bit of communication between the half and second rower, and they come up with a repeat set.
Ants from Levin is listening across the ditch. Thank you, Ants. Great to hear from you as always. 0467 920 222. The Raiders have the ball back, 19 away from the line after that. Tweener, I like to call him, the goal line dropout. Wasn't short, wasn't deep, somewhere in between. And Corey Horsburgh now for the Raiders has the ball 15 away from Manly's line. They play it for Starling. Comes right for Sanders. Gets it away now to Martin, and Martin loses a boot, and he's brought to ground 13 away from the line. 20 in from the Western touchline. Starling dummy half again, goes left, and it's a good strong run close to the line by Zach Hosking. He has the ball 3 away from the line. Starling left, Sanders tries to burrow under a couple, but he can't do so, and it was a high shot. He burrowed low, and then Nathan Brown came over the top. There's a bit of push and shove here between Brown and Smithies, but I think just because he went low, Nathan Brown didn't have much of an option there.
Yeah, it's a low shot to a player that's low, and unlike Nathan Brown to be in a bit of push and shove in the game.
He loves it, doesn't he? He does. Great to see. And there's been a bit of it tonight, actually. Now, I was going to say Noah Martin's getting attention, but he's just getting his shoelace done up for him, so that's nice of the trainer. Putting a bit of tape over the boot as well. And the Raiders will be able to continue after that penalty through Morgan Smithies, a metre away from the line. So, big defensive set here for the Seagulls with just under 8 to go first half. They lead 14-6, but the Raiders spin it to the right. Sasungi, they get 6 again here, Canberra, so another full set. Sasungi will play it 8 away from the goal line and 8 in from the Western touchline. Strange gets it away to Horsburgh. Horsburgh bounces away from a couple, then takes the tackle. 9 away from Manly's line. Plays it for Starling. Left-hand side, Hosking runs the decoy, gets it away to Sanders. Kaio Weeks goes towards the line, scrambling defence from the Seagulls. Gets a round of applause from the fans here at Brookie. Playing the ball for Starling. Short ball, Morgan Smithies can't get over the line. He's a metre away. Really good goal line D so far as the Raiders keep going right. Sanders will kick the ball through. Martin might have been taken out on the run. It's picked up in the in goal by the Seagulls, and Tom Trebojevic will be able to play the ball 8 away from the line. Geez, I thought Noah Martin, like you, Dino, might have been interfered with as he made the chase through.
Yeah, I can't see how that wasn't a penalty to the Raiders, because the gap was there. He got closed up by 2 defenders quite quickly, but Liam Kennedy, I should say, was quick to play, let play go on, and Manly now come up with the ball.
Yeah, they have it 23 away from the line, and Liam Kennedy did signal 6 again there as well for the Sea Eagles. So we're early in the tackle count. It's play 2. Now Joey Tarpany's come off the field for the Raiders as well. So Josh Papali'i, we've heard already through Ron Sims that he won't be back tonight. He went off after about 15 minutes with an HIA and has failed that. So down 1 prop, and Tarpany getting a breather now. Manly had the ball 3 away from halfway through Brown.
Zach Hoskin, he come out of the tackle only 3 rucks ago looking pretty ordinary, and it's been a quick call from the bunker to remove him from the field of play.
Zach Hosking, of course, his dad David was a bit of a legend in these parts, played 63 games for the Seagulls between 90 and 93, and he's going off for his HIA for his 15 minutes as well. That'll include the half-time break. It's 15 minutes real time, of course. So if he passes, he'll be able to start the second half. 14 points to 6. Manly lead with 6 minutes to go in the first half, and they have it just inside Raiders territory through Bullymore. Gets up and plays it quickly for Simpkin at dummy half. Goes right for Trebojevic. Tom, that is. Gets an offload away. Bounces. Brooks picks it up on the bounce. Doesn't really know which direction to go, so he takes the tackle in the end. 31 away from Canberra's line. With 6 to go in the first half, Manly leading 14-6 on NRL Saturday here on ABC Sport. Fogarty puts the high kick up. It's a really well centimetre kick there from Fogarty, because the Raiders through Savage had to take it only just inside the field of play. He wanted to put the foot on the goal line to get the 20-metre restart, but it was just inside the field of play. Really good kick from Fogarty, and now the Raiders on play 2 are still only 13 away from their own goal line. Thought there might have been knees from Nathan Brown as he went into Kyo Weeks, but play on again, and the Raiders have it through. Tamale gets up, goes again after the tackle, and he's brought to ground 36 away from his own goal line in centre field. The Raiders coming left-hand side, one off the ruck now through Hudson Young. He makes it up to halfway. This has been a good set from the Raiders. Final play, and they will go left and kick through Sanders right on the halfway line. Goes high up in the air. Turbo comes forward, takes it well, and then goes to ground 19 away from his own goal line. Manly 14, Canberra 6, 5 to go first half.
Yeah, awkward way to fall there from Tom Trebojevic, but he gets up fine, and maybe a bit of fatigue sitting in. I've seen another Manly player now this time losing a boot. There's something wrong with the laces that players are trying to do up tonight.
Well, it's been a long summer. They've spent the last 6 months in thongs. They've forgotten how to tie their boots up. Luke Brooks has the ball 20 away from the line, and now they go back into the middle of the park, and that's a strong collision as well there as Kohler takes the tackle 29 away from the line. Here's Ben Trebojevic. He goes up to within 13 of the halfway line. Final play for Manly, who lead 14-6, and Ben Trebojevic plays it for Simpkin, dummy half. Fogarty, he's going for the low stabber, looking for the 40-20. Savage gets there. It goes backwards out of Savage's hands, so the Raiders get away with it. They don't give away the 40-20, and Savage lost it backwards. It's picked up by Kyo Weeks, and he takes the tackle 18 away from the line. 20 in from the eastern touch line. Tamale is hit strongly by Garrick and takes the tackle 21 away from his own goal line. Trailing 14-6 the Raiders. Now 4 minutes to go in the opening half. Sebastian Chris takes the hit up to the 30-metre line for the Canberra Raiders as they get up and play the ball for Starling at dummy half. Left-hand side up to Mariota on the field now for the Raiders. You can't miss him with the hairstyle. And now they come to Strange. He'll have to kick from his own 30-metre line. Saab does well to get back and recover. Takes it on the full on his 30-metre line. And Manly will be able to start this set 7 short of the halfway line. Leading 14-6, 3.5 to go first half. Touchline, Ruan Sims.
So I've been impressed with Manly's ability to move the ball around in this weather, but I tell you what, that last set of defence, that was even more impressive.
Yeah, they really muscled up, didn't they, after the previous set for Canberra made probably 60 metres, and on that occasion they had to kick from their own 30s. Manly have the ball through Bullymore, 31 away from the Raiders goal line. 3 to go in the first half. They lead by 8. Simpkin right for Fogarty, chipping over the top. Garrick's coming through, but Canberra do well to get there. They'll also get out of their own in goal. That's a really good chase there by the centre over, or the winger Tamale over on the far side. And Tamale, that's an excellent return. I thought he was going to get caught in goal for sure, but he made it out about 12 away from his own goal line, and now they'll play it through Sasungi on the next play, 22 away. That was excellent work.
Yeah, excellent, and they have been excellent in the back three for the Raiders. They've got through an enormous amount of work, and Tamale did well to turn around and chase very quick with Ruben Garrick's no slouch, but getting out of the in goal was another feat in its own.
What about Big Red? Horsburgh there with the flick pass off one knee. That was sensational from the big lock forward. He has the ball again now from the subsequent play, and he'll take the tackle about 3 short of the halfway line centre field. He'll play it for Starling. Left-hand side, the high kick up in the air from Sanders, and it's going to be Lehigh Hopewadi who loses it backwards. Kick through by Strange doing the chasing. So too Xavier Savage goes without it. That must have been lost forward. Strange will take the tackle. Savage might be injured. It is a knock on Canberra. It went backwards off Lehigh Hopewadi. It is going to be a Manly scrum feed, 10 away from their own goal line. But that was all carnage there, Dino. Manly leading 14-6 with a minute 40 to go.
And you can see what Savage was doing. He felt the presence of the chasers coming across. So he didn't have really much time to think about getting down and getting the ball slowly. He had to try and scoop it up on the run through to get any sort of result. Unfortunately, it goes through his hands, and Manly turned up with decent cover in the end, and fortunately for them, it went backwards off Lehigh at the start.
Around the grounds quickly in the AFL, Brisbane and Western Bulldogs locked at 20 all. Manly coming away from their own end through Ethan Bullymore with a minute 10 to go in the first half here at Brookie, and the Eagles leading 14 points to 6. They go to the right-hand side through Hamole Olakawatu, one of the try scorers in this first half, along with Tom Trebojevic, and he has it 18 away from the line. Gets up, plays it left-hand side. Ruben Garrick now up over the 20-metre line. He's got some good leg power there and gets a metre or two of post-contact and takes the tackle 22 away from his own line. Here's Nathan Brown up over the 30 now. 40 seconds to go in the first half. Manly leading 14-6, and Simpkin out of dummy half goes left for Brooks, short for Ben Trebojevic. He wants an offload, but there's no support, so he takes the tackle 3 away from the halfway line. Final play, 28 seconds to go in the first half. Fogarty will go to the skies. Oh, it's a big spiralling bomb. Kaio Weeks has no idea. It bounces into the in goal. He has to play it, and he goes over the dead ball line. A goal line dropout. There's only 13 seconds to go in the first half. The clock is on, but they won't need to take it because we're counting down 5, 4, 3. 14 points to 6 at half-time, Dino. Manly over Canberra, and the Raiders had to do so much defending early. Manly had the first 8 sets. Canberra didn't touch the ball, so the Raiders wouldn't be too disappointed with where they are. Even there, they're down 14-6.
Yeah, they really had to fight their way back into the game, didn't they? It was such an early onslaught from the Manly Seagulls with their big guns firing, namely Tom Trebojevic, their skipper, opened up their scoring account, and he just kept threatening out wide. But the way they shifted the ball, and Ruan mentioned this a few times during the half, was really impressive in the conditions they were faced with. They stuck to their plan. They wanted to go wide, really test out the edges of the Raiders, in particular the halves, and they didn't go away from it. But what happened was the Raiders were able to wrestle back a bit of possession, progress themselves down the field. They got a try, and they got on the attack on plenty of occasions as well. So it ended up in a really tight contest. I wonder how that early defence that Canberra had to do will come out at the end of the game, whether they're going to have enough energy in reserve. And as well, they've lost one of their main men in Josh Papali'i for the night with the HIA, the fail of the HIA.
Yeah, Ruan, how much do you think that fatigue will take a toll? Particularly, that's a huge loss. Josh Papali'i gone for the game.
Oh, it's a massive loss. They've already also made about 60 more tackles than the Manly side have had to make, and they've missed 26 already in one half of football. So it sounds unusual, but missing tackles actually really does take it out of the tank for you, because you have to scramble to make up the space, and then you're constantly on the scramble, and that just draws a lot more energy out of the system. I will say this though, it's a Cat 2 for Hosking, so he hopefully will be able to return just after the halftime break. But I tell you what, I'd like to be a fly on the wall to hear what Ricky Stewart has to say, because after that first 12 minutes you thought it was going to be a blowout, and they're not far off the pace at the moment.
You talk about effective tackles, it's quite remarkable. Both teams almost identical at around 85, well, 80, just under 86% for both teams. Manly missing 19 of 150, the Raiders missing 26 of 202, and they've made 5 errors to Manly's 3. Yeah, it was those first 10 to 12 minutes, wasn't it, that really got Manly on the front foot, but they probably, Anthony Seibold would be disappointed that they didn't quite go on with it. They've had more than 60% of the ball as well, leading 14 points to 6. 0467 920 222 is the text number if you want to get involved, as plenty have. Thanks to Benny Brown at Batto Bay. How good is rugby league? Remarkable to think the opening round's been played across 3 countries, the USA, New Zealand and Australia, of course. What a season we're in for in 2026. Great calling to Maury, Este and the whole team. Thank you, Benny. Go the Bunnies. Duck from Cooperoo in Brizzy. Love the description of the old soft drink sponsored jerseys. Love listening. Up the milk. Joey Tarpany, Dally M favourite. favourite. Yeah, thanks very much for that, Duck. Yeah, it is the milk versus the soft drink, isn't it, if you look back to the 90s. Adam, the Brumbies pre-game chat was on ABC Canberra. Okay, yep, no worries. Thank you very much for that text message. Oh, good to have you on the footy back. Cheers, Al, Sandy and Kim from Cairns. Great to hear from you guys as well. Hope you're all doing well. Loving the call, guys. Listening from remote PNG on one of our crews sitting on a perfect round. Patrick from Mooloolaba. Jeez, it's been tough to get a perfect round this round, hasn't it? There's been a few tough ones. Around the grounds in the AFL, Brisbane 27 leading the Western Bulldogs 26 in the second quarter. It is the second half in the Queensland Cup with the Mackay Cutters leading the North Devils 26-18. In that women's test match in the West, Australia 8 for 284 just before the second break after India made 198. Talia McGrath was the last Australian batter out for 13. And it's the NBL elimination final with the Perth Wildcats leading the Melbourne United side 22-19. Just a reminder that Super Rugby clash in Canberra has been delayed because of lightning between the Brumbies and the Reds. We will go to that one, of course, once it happens on ABC Sport Digital, but ABC Canberra will continue to listen to this one. Just about half-time in the Big Blue in the A-League as well, with Melbourne Victory leading Sydney FC 1-0. Earlier this afternoon in the NRL, a big win for Cronulla, 50 points to 10 over the Titans. Here at Brookie, it has been 2 tries to 1 for the Sea Eagles. Tom Trbojevic and Hamole Olakawatu scoring the tries. Jamal Fogarty 3 for 3, including a penalty goal. Noah Martin scoring the Raiders' only try, and Ethan Sanders converted that. 14 points to 6 at halftime between the Sea Eagles and the Raiders. Plenty more on the other side of ABC News.
Hello, this is ABC News with David Rowlands. Huge explosions have rocked one of Tehran's main commercial airports after Israel said it was launching a new wave of strikes on Iran. Larry Buttrose has the story.
Eyewitnesses have reported a burning plane on the tarmac following the airport attack. It comes after residents in the capital reported the heaviest night of attacks so far. Iran's United Nations ambassador, Amir Saeed Iravani, has criticised the UN's failure to stop the US-Israeli attacks and says civilian losses are heavy.
At least 1,332 civilians, including women and children, have lost their lives.
Meanwhile, Lebanon's health ministry says there have been 217 deaths there since Israeli strikes began following rocket attacks launched by Iranian-backed Hezbollah militants in the opening days of the war.
Flood-affected Katherine residents in the Northern Territory are facing a long night with the power out and major flooding forecast to peak in the next few hours. Around 500 people are sheltering in emergency evacuation centres, and water has started to overwhelm a flood levee built around the town's CBD. The Northern Territory member for Katherine, Joe Hersey, says the community is pulling together to support one another.
And it is, it's quite overwhelming. We've been flooded again. We got evacuated this morning with the power going off, and everyone in the street is underwater. Our house is underwater.
Still in the top end, where voting is closed in the Northern Territory by-election for the Darwin Northern Suburb electorate of Nightcliff. The Labor opposition is hoping to reclaim the stronghold seat, which it lost to the NT Greens' first ever member, who last month resigned, citing health concerns. Around half of the electorate voted early, and vote counting is now underway. The South Australian Greens have labelled comments from One Nation candidate Corey Bernardi about Muslims as divisive and deeply hurtful. Bernardi told the ABC he backed federal leader Pauline Hanson's remarks, suggesting there are no good Muslims, which he partially apologised for. Those comments were described by Australia's Race Discrimination Commissioner as racist and Islamophobic. Bernardi said he agreed with Senator Hanson and claimed that if someone is a good Muslim, then their values are incompatible with Australian values. SA Greens leader Robert Sims says Australia is a country that brings together a range of cultures and faiths.
I think the comments that Corey Bernardi and Pauline Hanson have made are divisive, and they're deeply hurtful, I think, to lots of people in our community, particularly Muslim South Australians.
The Fatal stabbing of a bystander who tried to help a boy being attacked at a Melbourne train station has led to criticism from local residents about public safety. Andy Yu reports.
Shortly before 6 p.m. yesterday, 4 teenagers began attacking a 14-year-old schoolboy at Mernda train station. A 22-year-old off-duty security guard stepped in and walked the boy out of the station. The offenders then followed and proceeded to stab the man with a machete, and despite the efforts of witnesses and then police, he died at the scene. It's led to questions from locals about the lack of protective service officers at the station and whether government efforts to curb youth crime are making any headway.
Get onto of these issues, it's getting crazy now.
4 alleged offenders are in custody but yet to be charged.
A court has ordered a freeze on more than $30 million worth of property in Western Sydney linked to former politician Eddie Obeid. Emily Lawrence has the details.
The New South Wales Crime Commission says the Supreme Court caveat stopping the Obeid Corporation from selling property in Bankstown is the first step in returning taxpayers' money. Eddie Obeid, his son Moses and former mining minister Ian MacDonald were convicted and jailed in October 2021 over a Hunter Valley mine licence conspiracy. The deal netted $30 million that's never been recovered. Commissioner Stephen Demetto.
We've been pursuing this for over a decade. There's still a great deal of work in front of us to extract those funds.
He says the properties were hidden within a complex web of trusts and companies.
A woman has been charged following 3 suspicious fires in the Queensland coastal town of Yeppoon early yesterday. Emergency services were first called to a fire at a business premises at around 3:15 in the morning, before further fires were reported at 2 other premises within the next hour. All 3 blazes were extinguished shortly after crews arrived. The 33-year-old woman was charged with multiple offences, including arson, willful damage and attempted stealing. ABC News.
12 teams, 3 cities, 1 dream.
Great touch on edge of the box, right foot strike, and she scores! Unbelievable!
ABC Listen, your home of the AFC Women's Asian Cup Australia 2026.
Dribbles to the edge of the area, strikes! Oh, it's in! What a wonderful goal!
1 match live every day. Every Matildas game, every final. On ABC Listen. Just look for the green and gold Asian Cup button.
ABC sports coverage of the 2026 NRL Premiership.
Umbrellas everywhere. Left-hand side they come. Brooks, Tom. Tom takes it to the line. Dummies goes himself. And the new captain scores the first try of the season for the Manly Warringah Sea Eagles. 10 in from the western touchline. They were throwing it from both sides. In the end, it went from east to west. And Tom Trbojevic scores for Manly. They lead 4 points to 0 with a kick to come. And we've had 3.5 minutes of play.
Yeah, they've certainly started with a lot of intent, the home team, Manly Sea Eagles, and it's shift to shift, as you said, on each time they play the ball. They go left, they go right, they come back to the left on a full field shift. And who'd have guessed it, but the captain and number 1, Tom Trbojevic, gets across for their first try.
Goes right for Luke Brooks. Fogarty, the cross kick, trying to find Jason Saab. He's 7'9". It goes backwards, picked up by Olakawatu, scores! Smithies has the ball 10 short of Manly's line, centre field again. Starling dummy half. Sanders 6 again. Great ball back on the inside. They might not need the 6 again. The referee is going to say it's knocked on by Noah Martin over the line, I believe. The Raiders are celebrating.
No tackles. In the tackle 1 off 10 metres. Just check for grounding. If it's a no try, we're coming back for 10-metre penalty.
Oh, there's grounding. That's a shot.
Oh, yeah.
Possession and has downward pressure on the ball here. We have a decision.
Noah Martin in just his 7th NRL game has his 3rd try, and the Raiders are back in it. 14 points to 4 with a kick to come.
ABC sports coverage of the 2026 NRL Premiership.
On your radio, ABC Sport Digital Radio
and ABC Listen.
Yeah, great to have your company here at Brookvale. Glenn Lauder, Dean Hallertau and Ruan Sims with you for Manly and Canberra here on NRL Saturday on ABC Sport. The Sea Eagles leading 14 points to 6 with the rain continuing to come down steadily, but it hasn't dampened the spirits too much. Still a really big crowd over on that Eastern Hill, and the grandstands are packed as well. It was Tom Trbojevic and Hamole Olakawatu with the tries. Noah Martin getting the try for the Raiders. Let's have a look at what is happening around the grounds in some of the other codes in the AFL. Brisbane leading Western Bulldogs 35-33. Second half Queensland Cup. The Mackay Cutters leading the Devils 28-18. Australia 8 for 284 in the second day of the women's Test Test match against India after India made 198. Perth Wildcats lead Melbourne United 23-21 in the second quarter of the NBL Elimination Final, and delays in Canberra due to lightning between the Brumbies and the Queensland Reds in Super Rugby. And that one game in the A-League tonight, it is half-time and Melbourne victory leading Sydney FC 1-0 in the Big Blue. 0467 920 222. Hey boys, love the call. Should the Eagles be out of sight? Same old Eagles, very coast to coast. Turbo the only one to straighten up. Thoughts on that, Dino?
I like the way that they've played. You've got to go forward at times, but the shifts have worked for them and they've created opportunities. I think when they got in the arm wrestle, they're still playing all right with those movements out to the left and right.
Hello team, footy's back. Halla's back up the Tigers, says Bubba. Anthony, random South guy from Instagram. I found it a bit ridiculous that Manly had the pyro going off while they ran out. And the rain poured. What are your guys' thoughts? Yeah, I think the rain contributed to the smoke hanging around, but it didn't last too long. How come a team like Manly didn't make the final for years, get to play their first game at home, and why do the Raiders don't? Says Hillary. Look, they use sophisticated computer programming to come up with a draw. It's well above my head, but I appreciate the text message. Thank you, Hillary. Enjoy listening to Glenn, Dean and Ruwan, says Jody in Mackay. I'm glad to hear Turbo going for the first try, hoping he'll have an injury-free season and play Origin, says Jerry in Bondi. Thank you for your text message. Saturday Night Country is on the ABC again this year. A brand new host, Gold Coast-based country singer-songwriter Melody Moko taking over. Her first show is tonight. You can hear it on ABC Listen via the ABC Country button or on your TV on channel 203 from 9 Eastern Daylight. So there you go. Back here at Brookvale, Manly just about to get us underway again. They will be kicking towards the southern end of Brookvale Oval, and the Raiders will get first use of the football in the second half with Ruwan Sims, Dean Hallertau. I'm Glenn Lauder, and it's Ata Mariota with the first hit up of the second half, and a strong carry, as you'd expect, into traffic, takes the tackle 17 away from his own goal line. Canberra coming up over the 20-metre line now. One off the ruck they came, and it's a good hit up there coming in off his wing from, or out of the centres anyway, by Sasangi, as the Raiders have the ball on the 30-metre line, and Horsburgh plays the ball quickly. Left-hand side they come. Hudson Young takes it to within 10 of the halfway line, and they're going to get a penalty. First set of the second half. There were hands all over the face. It was a high one from Nathan Brown, and Canberra on play 4 get the penalty. 10 short of halfway, Dino.
Yeah, a bit of wince in there from Hudson Young as he sort of wipes his face, clears the eyes. The trainer goes over to see him, and he seems okay, but it's an early opportunity here for the Raiders.
Well, we saw similar, didn't we, in the first half? Manly getting the rub of the green from the refereeing. I'm not suggesting that there was anything doing, but just the way that the discipline played out, and Manly got early try because of it. But the Raiders are attacking now. They had the ball 30 away from the line, and here is Hudson Young straightening and taking the tackle 29 away from Manly's line in centre field. He plays it for Starling. Right-hand side he goes, and finding a way through his Hosking. Takes the tackle 19 away from the line in centre field. Quick play the ball for Starling to scoot out at dummy half. He might have almost been caught high as well there, but it's play on. He plays the ball. Hoskins at dummy half. Mariota is short right-hand side. Manly's defence quickly brings him to ground. Final play, 4 away from the goal line. Starling, left-hand side, he comes for Sanders. Good ball, Young, close to the line. Young tries to get the offload away, but it is dived on by the Sea Eagles, and they will get use of the ball in the second half. 8 away from their own goal line. Nathan Brown plays it, and then they find themselves about 12 away through Jason Saab. 14 points to 6. Manly leading the Raiders. 2 minutes gone in the second half.
Yeah, would like to get a kick in there from Ethan Sanders, but not a bad pace to turn the ball over with the short one there to Hudson Young, and now the Sea Eagles with their first possession of the second half.
Ethan Bullymore has it 30 metres away from his own goal line in centre field. Simpkin, a dummy half, goes left. They'll kick early in the set. The wingers weren't back, but it bounces kindly for Kyo Weeks, and he can take it 25 away from his own line. Manly were looking for the 40-20 there, but the bounce was a kind one for the Raiders, and now they can find themselves within 5 of halfway through Tamale. So this could be a good set for Canberra as they come one off the ruck. Left-hand side, strong run. one. Xavier Savage straight through the middle. 35 away from Manly's line. He went straight up over halfway, straight through the Manly centre defence. Osprey gets an offload away now. Canberra have started this second half really impressively. Young goes for the dummy, takes the tackle. 27 away from Manly's line. 15 in from the Western touchline. Starling dummy half, right-hand side Sanders. Horsbury gets it away to Strange, and then back on the inside for Sasung. To go back, yeah, he just walked off the mark there, Sasungi. Now he plays it, 11 away from the line. Horsburgh's at first receiver. Sanders back on the inside for Kyo Weeks. Still the final play. Kyo Weeks takes the tackle about 9 away from the goal line. Maybe not a bad option to make Manly start this set from 9 away from their own goal line. They lead 14-6, the Sea Eagles. Touchline, Rowan Sims.
Yeah, not a bad place to sort of finish up the play, but they're not really asking too many questions on those last couple of tackles in each set. I think they need to put a little bit more stress on the home side's defence and try and force them into some errors. Oh, this is a penalty.
2-on-1 strip. It was Noah Martin in there along with Starling, and the Sea Eagles get the penalty 29 metres away from their own goal line after what was a really strong run there. It was a good run into traffic, and yeah, there were two Raiders players there that stripped the ball out from Tolo Kola, and Manly find touch 5 away from the eastern touchline.
Yeah, Martin was kind of looking at the other player in the tackle there, hoping that he dropped off, but he definitely made an intentional look at the ball, and rightly so, a penalty's awarded.
So here's Moby Hetherington with the ball for Manly, 3 short of the halfway line. They come right through Fogarty and Olakawatu. Amole Olakawatu backs into the defenders. Good post-contact metres. He made about 5 or 6 there, and now he's 9 inside Raiders territory. Simkin dummy half, left-hand side, Hetherington, Brown, and now it's Brooks getting it away for Ben Trebojevic. Finally over on the left-hand side, taking the tackle, Kola. 29 away from the Raiders line. Here's Ben Trebojevic again, 19 away from Canberra's line. 14-6, the Sea Eagles lead. 5 gone second half. Nathan Brown to the line. Gets it away to Fogarty. Cut out ball for Garrick. Garrick looked to offload, then he wanted to hold on to it, but he'd already committed to the offload and he dropped it backwards, and it's dived on by Adam Mariota for the Raiders, and they come away from their own end now. Oh, good run here from Tamale. Bouncing off a few, and Tamale, he's a hot Tamale there. They can't hold on to him, and he's brought to ground 32 away from his own goal line. Chris goes on a carry now, and Sebastian Chris is only 5 short of halfway. What a set this is by the Raiders. Weeks is at dummy half. The outside back's doing the hard work because it's Sasungi now, 6 inside Manly's territory, and it's Starling scooting out a dummy half, catching all the Manly defenders off guard. He makes another 15, takes the tackle, 29 away from Manly's line. Hudson Young bounces off 1 or 2, gets it back on the inside for Kyo Weeks. Weeks skips away from a couple, still skipping left to right. What a ball that is for Martin to go over for his second try of the evening. Noah Martin, all he had to do was run off because Kyo Weeks just kept skipping and skipping, and he held that ball up beautifully, and Martin ran straight through the hole. 14 points to 10 with a kick to come. 6.5 gone second half.
Yeah, well, something that Ruan mentioned in the first half was, or in the break I should say, was those missed tackles that really zap you of energy, and the Manly Sea Eagles, they were getting torn up by the outside backs of the Raiders, as you said, Glenn, and those missed tackles that they were coming up with in the middle of the field just sort of spread their defence a little bit. When Kyle Weeks got the ball and some loose, broken play, he skips back across. They're standing still, they're not quite organised. He pokes his head through, it's a legs tackle, and then a really nice run on the outside by Noah Martin. He anticipates that there's an opportunity, he slices through, plays a good support role, and he's almost untouched all the way to the try line.
Roo, there was nothing else the Raiders deserved at the end of that set than 4 points and maybe 6.
Well, I think they've deserved that just with the way they've started this second half. There's been plenty of intent, there's been plenty of physicality, and they're playing a bit more up-tempo. So that little break at halftime did them absolute wonders. And you just, like Dino just spoke about, they just pulled that defence apart, and I think that's exactly what Ricky Stewart would be looking for.
14 points to 10. I think Manly will be starting to wonder whether this has gotten away given how fast they started this match. Now from 9 19 or 21 in from the eastern touchline. Sanders makes no mistake, so they're back within 2. And it is a double for Noah Martin. 14 points to 12 with 7.5 gone in the second half. 0467 920 222. Estate Dean and Rue, great first half. I had the option to listen on ABC Sport or watch it on TV. Listening to you three is a no-brainer. Have a great 2026 season, says the Chin. Thank you, Chin. Hi there, champions. Oh, doing it tough here. Crystal Bay prawns and chilled Chardonnay. Michael and Wendy, sorry to hear you having such a terrible night in Cremorne. Thanks for listening to us. Go Manly from Sharky at Swan Bay. Great to hear from you guys. Loving the football cooking now. Thank you very much for that. Go Manly, says Dave in Nowra. Appreciate that. Macca from Forbes as well, sending a text. Atta Mariota off the back fence, so if you don't mind, flying into the defence, taking the tackle, 12 away from his own goal line. That is some carry on the return. And now Sasangi goes on a strong run again. This could be another one of those sets for the Raiders. As Starling scoots out a dummy half and has Hosking in support, maybe over the horizontal. He was kind of flipped by Olakawatu, but he gets up and plays the ball. Geez, Canberra are just making metres for fun through the middle. Horsburgh has it now, 9 metres inside Manly territory. Starling out a dummy half, 3 steps right-hand side for Strange, and Manly now 25 metres out from their own line doing the defending, and Canberra have 6 again here. 20 metres away from the line, 8 inside the eastern touchline. Manly's defenders are out on their feet as Strange plays the ball. Sanders gets it away to Adamariota. Strong run again from the front row with Papali'i just repeating, failing an HIA 15 minutes into this game. Left-hand side, Sanders first receiver. Gets it away to Hosking. 5 away from the goal line at the northern end. Starling dummy half again, right-hand side. Sanders takes it to the line, gets it away to Weeks. Now Strange, quick hands from Sasangi to Savage, and Xavier Savage. He is a savage. The Raiders score. It's 16-14. Back-to-back tries for the Green Machine, and they lead for the first time tonight. They lead by 2 with a kick to come. 9 gone in the second half.
What about the energy levels from the Raiders in the second half? And you identified it throughout that set, Glenn. It was just rolling through the middle. It looked like the defence was non-existent from the Seagulls in the middle of the field. And you could see straight away that feeling was felt by their coach, Anthony Silva, because Jake Trbojevic was pacing the sideline, ready to get on the field, trying to shore things up around the middle. It's a little too late in terms of this set of the game, because the Raiders, they shifted all the way to the right. Beautiful hands to get it all the way out to Savage. He comes off the right foot, beats Luke Brooks with that right foot, and then has enough strength to get through the cover defence, roll over and slam the ball down.
Oh, Rue, this is one-way traffic at the moment. Quite incredible.
I think it's a really well-deserved try for Xavier Savage as well. He's been fantastic as part of that electric back 3 for the Green Machine. He's taken every kick that's come his way, except for one little whoopsie in the play the ball earlier. He's had an absolute cracking game, and he deserved that one.
Nothing worse than a whoopsie in the play the ball. He scored in round 23 against Manly. He scored 12 last season, of course. Missed the finals after breaking his shoulder in the Miracle in Mudgee, so a bit of redemption for Xavier Savage. And the Raiders, after being out of it in the first 15 or 20 minutes, lead the Sea Eagles 16-14. We said before the game it was going to be an arm wrestle. Rain has obviously brought both teams a little closer together. Sanders from the touchline. He's absolutely nailed that one. It was a low stinger, and the touch judges did not flinch. Great kick from Sanders from the touchline, and they lead 18 points to 14 around the grounds in the AFL. Brisbane leading Western Bulldogs 35-33, and in that test match in the West, Australia 8 for 284 after India were bowled out for 198. That's on day 2. Still no play in the Brumbies-Reds game. It's due to start at 9 p.m, so in about 9 minutes from now. ABC Sport Digital is the place to go for that, or on the ABC Listen. You can find that game on there, but ABC Canberra listeners will be staying with us here at Brookvale as the Raiders take on the Sea Eagles. But I guess the fact that it doesn't start for another 9 minutes is that you can listen to the Raiders and then you can listen to the Brumbies afterwards as well. And in the basketball, Perth 23, Melbourne United 21 in the second quarter of that elimination final. But the Raiders are all over Manly here. Hudson Young has the ball 21 away from his line. And I tell you what, what, the yardage they've been getting is a lot to do with Starling out of dummy half. He's been electric out of dummy half in this second half, taking 1 or 2 steps. On this occasion, he hasn't. Strange kicks from his own 30-metre line, and now Manly may be finally able to wrestle some momentum back because Tom Trbojevic can start this set 6 short of halfway, Dino.
Yeah, well, it was a double change. Jake Trbojevic come on the field and Taniela Paseka, and straight away from the kick-off, the line speed was up. There was some heavy contact, and they forced the deep kick from the Raiders. So now Manly really got an opportunity to turn things around quickly.
Yeah, they're 9 metres inside Canberra's half as Kohler plays the ball. It looks a bit ginger after taking that tackle, and Paseka now has it 35 away from Canberra's line. Canberra 18, Manly 14. We've still got 28 minutes to play, so plenty of time, and that's a really good tackle around the legs by Sebastian Kris to stop Tom Trbojevic. Simpkin at dummy half goes left for Fogarty. Hasn't really been involved this second half. Puts the high bomb up in the air. Good take as well on the far side by Savage. Important take, 10 away from his own goal line, and allows Raiders to come away from their own end. There's some cramping happening now over on this left-hand side. Can't quite see. It's Sebastian Kris. As early in the season, players are starting to find their feet. Of course, a lot of the big names for the Raiders didn't play in the trials. Kris did play in that second game against Cronulla, but none of the forwards did, and Joey Tarpany now, it's an offload away for Starling backing up, and now he gets the pass away to Weeks, straight through the middle. Kaio Weeks, he's got supporters either side. He goes through the middle, tries to beat Hopewadi himself, but he takes the tackle 35 away from the line. They're attacking again. Chip and chase by Hudson Young. He was taken out on the way through, but it doesn't matter because Xavier Savage picks it up beautifully on the bounce and scores a double. Can you believe it? What a second half for the Raiders. Xavier Savage has 2 tries in 4 minutes, and the Raiders, 12 minutes into the second half, lead 22 points to 14 with a kick to come. Hudson Young with chip and chases. What's doing, Dino?
Yeah, well, electric play there from the Raiders, and it's something, again, that you've picked up, Estee. It's that work out of dummy half from Tom Starling. He's worked really hard this entire game. He jumps out, gets them on the front foot with Kaio Weeks. Immediately on the next play, they go to their right because they know that the edge defence there from the Seagulls is pedalling backwards. There's no pressure coming. It probably wasn't the best chip kick there from Hudson Young. He's put in 2 kicks tonight that have come up with results. That one there, Xavier Savage was the man on the spot. He showed plenty of pace from the sideline. He had an attempt earlier in the game to scoop one up off the ground. This one had a favourable bounce, and he gets the 4 points for his second of the night.
Ruwan Sims, it is electric at the moment.
It's been absolutely fantastic, and just the game awareness there of Hudson Young to identify after that great run by KO Weeks and the great work by Starling out of dummy half. It was Tom Trbojevic who made that tackle on KO Weeks. He was out of position. He was not at fullback. So if you popped a little kick over the top, they were going to find space, and that's exactly what they did. And again, Xavier Savage with a pickup in this weather is absolutely incredible.
It is 3 tries in 7 minutes for the Canberra Raiders. 22 points to 14. Manly shell-shocked, as Dino touched on. Jake Trbojevic and Taniela Paseka are back on the field for the Seagulls as they try to muscle up a little bit more in defence because they have been ripped apart by the Raiders in this second half. Sanders from the touchline, right in front of the Eastern Hill at Brookie. They're a hardy bunch over there. They're trying to put him off, and he is unable to add the extras on this occasion. He's been perfect so far, but it is now 3 from 4 for Sanders. A double to Savage, a double to Noah Martin. 0467 920 222. The gear steward from Kalinga says that the Raiders were weeks away in the first half, but they're playing like true savages now. Thank you very much for that, gear steward. Timmy Lismore is Ethan Sanders, Sam Walker 2.0. Geez, he's had a great game tonight, particularly in this second half. Raiders are going to be up there this season, says Bretto. Thank you very much for your text messages on 0467 920 222. Halftime in the AFL, Brisbane leading Western Bulldogs 43-40. Ata Mariota, another strong hitter from the restart. Takes the tackle 12 away from his line. Of course, repeating that news that Josh Papali'i out of this game. He only lasted about 15 minutes before a head clash, and now this will be a penalty against Olakawatu because he ragdolled Starling to the ground.
It's in a dangerous position.
Well, there you go. I said ragdoll, but I managed to keep it clean.
Yeah.
Apologies for the language, but yeah.
I mean, it's an odd one to see because you're allowed to throw players by the jersey as long as it's not dangerous, and he drives his head straight into the ground there, so identified by the referee, and another piggyback penalty for the Raiders out of their own end.
Does land on his head there, doesn't he? It looked awkward, but the Raiders attacking Manly's line again. Manly really have to try to get some sort of ball possession in this second half because they've been completely outplayed. And that's the difference. Manly probably didn't quite take the advantage of the amount of ball they had in the first half, and the Raiders have done in this second half. They throw it through the hands from Sanders and then gets it away to Martin. Martin has the ball 21 away from Manly's line, 20 in from the eastern touchline. 22-14 they lead, 24 to go. Centre field, the Raiders have it, getting up and playing it slowly as Hosking. They come short out of dummy half through Starling, right for Sanders, gets it away. Oh, what a ball from Strange to Savage. He's got a hat-trick, has he? This is an incredible put down by Xavier Savage, flying through the air in that northeastern corner. He almost came down with snow on him. He got that high. And Xavier Savage with a hat-trick. He's putting his hands up going, I don't know, I'm not sure. But the referee has pointed to the spot. Does he get the grounding? Don't take this one off him because it was spectacular. Oh, it's on the touching goal line.
We're going to have to zoom in to see if the point of the ball gets down.
It's on the
momentarily before, but yeah, he wasn't sure himself. Xavier Savage, he had the arms out wide. I'm sure that the touch judge made a call as they go back upstairs, and it feels like it's going to be a quick decision, but gee, that was slick from the Raiders to the right. Ethan Sanders and Ethan Strange, their combination.
Cleared all aspects of play in the lead. I'm looking at the touching goal line here.
We should just make...
Savage credits the ball on the touching goal.
We've got to make an exemption here, Roo.
Oh, it was so spectacular. It deserved points. Unfortunately, he put it straight down on the line there, so that one doesn't count. But I'll tell you what, I did mention earlier that Ethan Strange has moved over to the right-hand side, so he's playing on the right-hand side as that half. All last season, we saw him carve up on the left. I tell you what, he hasn't missed a beat switching sides. That little combination he has with Savage on that right edge is fantastic.
Manly now in decent position here. 8 metres short of the halfway line. Olakawatu on a strong run. 6 metres into Canberra territory. They trail 22-14 with 24 to go. Fogarty changes direction back on the inside, and Manly have the ball in centre field through Corey Waddell. So that is one of the extended bench for Manly being used. It is interesting to see how the coaches go about it. Of course, this evening, Brandon Wakeham, a halfback, was on the bench, but he dropped off in place of a forward Waddell. The kick high, brilliantly taken by Garrick, gets the pass away to Saad, still the last. Olakawatu back on the inside for Waddell. Great scrambling defence by the Raiders to drag Waddell down 9 away from the goal line and get the changeover, 22-14. Oh, they are big moments in these games, Dino.
Yeah, great desperation from the cover defence there of the Raiders, and it was Zach Hosking who come across. He gets the hand out and trips up Waddell. It was like a one-boot tackle, and it just shuts the play down. And the Raiders, again, that energy that they're bringing in the second half is awesome.
This is another strong run by Sasangi. Jeez, he's been handy in the second half as well, going forward out of difficult areas, coming out of their own goal area. And now the Raiders have the ball 22 away from their own goal line in centre field. Starling at dummy half, one off the right-hand side. Ben Trebojevic doing some desperate defending there, stopping Hudson Young. They go right to Ata Mariotta, 9 away from the halfway line. Plays the ball for Starling, left-hand side for Sanders to put the high kick up in the air from his own 40-metre line. It's taken comfortably by Tom Trebojevic, and he returns to the middle of the park and takes it 25 away from the line. And they have the ball about 29 away, centre field. 22-14 with 22 to go. Slowing down a little bit here as the fatigue sets in. Waddell plays it left-hand side. Garrick. Ruben Garrick is 9 short of the halfway line. Centre field for Manly. Simkin waiting dummy half. Left-hand side, Jake Trebojevic. It is great to see a Manly player in black headgear with the old school maroon and white jerseys. It looks just like Beaver back in the days as Brooks goes high in the air for Weeks to take the catch. 12 away from his own goal line and return it up over the 20 with Canberra leading 22-14, 21 to go, Dino.
They're just watching the sideline now for the Raiders, and it's Jaden Brayley who's making his way to the 30-metre line nearly as Tom Starling comes from the field. What a great 60 minutes there from Tom Starling. He left nothing in the tank, and the very experienced Jaden Brayley now enters the field.
So Canberra 13 short of the halfway line. Brayley in his first game for his new club, coming from the Newcastle Knights, of course, found himself down the pecking order behind Phoenix Crossland, and it's a good recruit for the Raiders, but geez, I'll tell you what, Starling had a great game tonight. If he doesn't come back on, he probably will. And now Brayley has the ball backing up there from the offload. 8 metres inside Manly's territory. Left-hand side they come. Sanders puts the high kick up in the air. Tom Trebojevic waiting for it. Takes it about 2 away from his own goal line. Up over the 10. Met in a strong tackle. Chris was involved, and along with a couple of others, including Hudson Young. 15 away from Manly's line. Too slow to get up was Hudson Young. They give away the penalty, and Manly high five. 15 away from their own goal line. Geez, that is something the Sea Eagles desperately needed.
Yeah, that they do. And the one thing that the Raiders have done really well in this, for 60% of this game, I'd say, is they've shut down Tom Trebojevic. He's been very quiet since that opening 15 minutes. A bit of a sideways kick from Luke. Only gains about 10 or 12 metres, but the Raiders have done a really good job. You've got to sense that when this game is in the balance, Tom Trebojevic is going to want the ball more and more.
Yeah, Garrick takes the tap and then takes it to within 10 of the halfway line. Plays the ball. Fogarty at dummy half, on off the ruck, left-hand side. Waddell getting heavily involved since coming on. Simkin dummy half, left-hand side, Paseka over halfway, and Paseka a metre inside Canberra's territory. 22 points to 14, 19 to go. Simkin dummy half, left-hand side. Brooks gets it away to Ben Trebojevic, and Ben is tackled 5 in from the eastern touchline, 30 away from the Raiders line. Slowly getting up and playing it on tackle 4. Brooks is at first receiver, gets it away to Jake Trebojevic, cuts out Waddell. Now Fogarty back on the inside. Turbo loses it. He has a big look at the defensive line, bounces off the chest, picked up by Kyo Weeks, and the Raiders will start this set 31 metres away from their own line. Geez, you know it's going bad for Manly when Turbo loses it.
I think I put the mock on them. Sorry, Turbo.
Geez, they looked good value, didn't they, in the first 20 minutes, but the Raiders got that try back, and at 14-6 at half-time, you just felt that Canberra was still in it despite being up against it. Big Papa, of course, being lost in the first half to an HIA. They had every reason, the Raiders, to capitulate, but I tell you what, they have been sensational in this second half. Hosking plays at 5 inside Manly's territory. They go through the hands right-hand side from Strange to Sasangi, and Sasangi brings it down 35 away from Manly's line. About 12 in from the eastern touchline. They go short. Weeks dummies goes himself, and he's brought to ground 20 away from the line, with Ben Trebojevic coming over the top. They play it 8 inside the eastern touchline. Sanders goes to the skies. Chasers are coming through. Turbo does well to get up and take this one under heavy pressure, and then he takes the tackle 5 away from the goal line. 22 points to 14, 17 and a half to go. Touchline, Ruan Sims.
Just watch the energy that the Canberra Raiders have got in their defensive line now. They're up, getting up really, really quick off their own line, and they're hitting and sticking all of their tackles. They are hunting the Sea Eagles.
Dual international Ruan Sims, premiership winner and Kiwi international Dean Hallertau. I'm just a gibberer, Glenn Lauder. Great to have your company on ABC Sport. NRL Saturday, 30 metres away from their own goal line. The Sea Eagles trailing by 8. Simkin, left-hand side, goes to Brooks, gets it away to Ben Trebojevic. On it goes to Tolatau Kola. He's 3 short of the halfway line, 10 inside the eastern touchline on the final play. So Fogarty will go to the skies. It's another really high spiralling bomb. Matt Burton would be proud. Kyo Weeks has no idea, but he manages to bat it backwards. He bats it backwards twice under his legs. It was like a one-man game of tunnel ball. And he picks it up and he takes the tackle 9 away from his own goal line. I would not envy Kyo Weeks in that situation because that was huge.
Yeah, the stuff for fullback nightmares, that one.
Here they go, left-hand side. Sorry, Dino. Sebastian Chris is almost away, but Ruben Garrick does well to stop him and then dive on top of him. We might have seen a little knock on in front of us there, but the touch judge didn't see it. And Sebastian Chris has now got cramp. We actually saw him go down in the first half as well with cramp, but this will be an opportunity for everyone to take a breather. 10 short of the halfway line and 15 in from the western touchline, Dino.
Yeah, just watching a replay of that towering bomb. And there was groans from the crowds about a potential knock-on, but it went backwards, I think, 3 times off the hands of Kyo Weeks.
Phil is listening in Austinmere, says, great call and so much fun listening to the Raiders comeback. Thank you, Phil. Anton Levin is saying that he hopes that Big Papa is okay. Canberra have the ball 5 short of halfway. Tarpany offloads to Hosking. Hosking up over the halfway line. Chris is still down in back play, getting that cramp stretched out. Hopefully it is only a cramp and nothing more sinister to that calf as they continue on with the ball here, the Raiders. Morgan Smithies bounces off a couple and takes the tackle 30 away from the line. Final play, centre field, leading 22-14. Sanders high kick, waiting for it is Tom Trbojevic. Takes it 3 away from his line, gets it away to Saab, and Jason Saab takes it to the 10-metre line, and he takes the tackle in centre field. Sebastian Chris is going to try to join the defensive line here, but he doesn't look particularly comfortable, and maybe this is why coaches do have that opportunity to have those outside backs in the extended squad, like Jed Stewart maybe to come on a wing or something if Seb Chris can't continue.
Yeah, he's really battling with those cramps in the calves, and like you said, it's an early part of the season. These are the things you have to deal with, is just the lack of match fitness, and it's something that you're going to have to keep an eye on with Seb.
Well, Fogarty didn't like it off the boot, and I tell you what, it was almost a 40-20. It looked like a slice, and it might have gone out on the full, but from inside 40, it's bounced about 3 centimetres inside the touchline and about 3 centimetres outside the 20-metre line. So the Raiders do get the changeover. 17,253 at Brookie this evening. Touchline, Ruan Sims.
Yeah, even though the weather is terrible, the Brookie faithful always turn up. They turn up in numbers. They've done it again tonight. But they're willing their team on here. They just look really zapped of energy. There's lots of hands on hips. Body language is really down. They need a circuit breaker just to really pep them back up.
Hi, Glenn, Dean and Ruan. Am I right in thinking that Manly is self-destructing, Paul, in Wollongong? Look, yes, but the Raiders have been excellent as well. Take nothing away from Canberra, but yeah, Manly really should have been in a better position at half-time, you would say. So now, yep, there's more of that self-destruction. There's a crusher tackle, and Canberra get the penalty 33 away from their own goal line, Dino.
Yeah, so often you see teams in this position where they're sort of backpedaling, they're chasing a bit, and you just get a bit over zealous in defence and try and put some big shots on, and you start thinking less tactically and get a little bit more emotional, and they're coming up with those back-to-back penalties that are giving the Raiders even more possession and really zapping that energy now of the Seagulls.
Timmy Lismore's trying to get into your head for 3-2-1s, Dino, saying Atta Mariota has had a great game in your 3-2-1.
Yeah,
he's just come up for a bit of a breather here. Dino's thinking about that, that's for sure. 13 and a half to go. We're on air until 10 Eastern Daylight, so plenty of time to get your texts in after the game, and the Raiders still have plenty of time to get more points. 13 and a half to go. They lead by 8. Left-hand side they come. Kyo Weeks tries to find a way through. 10 away from the line, 10 in from the western touchline. Hudson Young waiting for it at dummy half. He thinks about kicking again, Hudson. He goes himself towards the line, takes the tackle 5 away, 20 in from the western touchline. Now Brayley's at dummy half. Right-hand side, Sanders holds the ball up, gets it away to Strange. Grubbing towards the in-goal. Turbo will have to make a play at it, takes it over the dead ball line. Another repeat set here potentially for the Raiders as Canberra forced the goal line dropout. 22-14, 13 to go.
Yeah, just building that pressure nicely, aren't they, the Raiders? Just keeping it going. Just watching now the Raiders, they're trying to plan their interchanges. See, I think it's Zach Hoskins gone out there and Corey Horse was on, and thinking about that cramping for Sebastian Chris, they've actually used all their 4 interchanges, so it'll only be an 18th man replacement that comes on now for the Raiders if they need it.
Fogarty with the in-betweener goal line dropout as well. Horsburgh leaves it. It bounces on the 20-metre line, goes backwards, and it's picked up by Tamale, who returns it into the middle of the park, crabbing all the way across Brookvale Oval. Now coming back the opposite direction. backs into the traffic and takes the tackle 25 away from the Manly line in centre field. So Brayley at dummy half, one off the ruck, right-hand side, Smithies, and Smithies takes the tackle 15 away. Left-hand side, thinking Brayley, going right in the end for Strange. Ethan Strange still going, but Manly hold on to him a metre short of the line. Thought he was going to go all the way himself there, Strange. Left-hand side, Sanders is at first receiver. He will go himself. Ethan Sanders scores under the post. Oh, that's too easy for Canberra, but it's an indication that Manly is really tiring. Ethan Sanders gets his first try in the NRL. Could be just about all she wrote. The Raiders dominating 26-14 with a kick to come right in front, 11 and a half to go.
Yeah, well, a couple of runs here from the halves and the Raiders. It was a really nice left foot step from Ethan Strange, almost gets him to the line, and then immediately they set up to their left, and Ethan Sanders, who Ruan mentioned has had a strong game for the Raiders, he's got a really nice set player coming under, a player on the outside, the sweep line as well. He just throws the dummy and cuts through himself some tired defenders back through the middle. Jake Trebojevic can't get close enough to get a full tackle on him, right in front of the Fulton stand, the Bob Fulton stand, puts it down and breaks the hearts of some Manly fans.
Looks like he's broken the hearts of plenty of Manly fans. They're streaming for the exits now, Ruan. They think it's just about all over.
Yeah, there's a beautiful run there by Ethan Sanders, and I tell you what, I was a little critical at the start of this second half that I didn't feel like they were asking enough questions of the Manly defence. They were just finishing quite meekly on the last tackle, and I have to say, after that first 5 minutes, they have been finishing strongly. Both halves have really stepped up. They're taking the line on off the back of some good running and great dummy half work, both by Starling and now Brayley in the second half. This is a great second half performance here by the Green Machine.
Well, I'll tell you what, they would have been disappointed to lose Jamal Fogarty, but they would be delighted to have found Ethan Sanders as a replacement because he has been excellent tonight. He gets the try that he deserves, and he will almost certainly convert it from right in front. I know I might be putting the mock on him, but if he misses it, it's not my fault. Straight in front, adds the extras. Ethan Sanders with a try, and 4 from 5 so far. Andrew in Cooroy says, great call, guys and lady. I can smell the grass and feel the rain from up here in Queensland. Thank you for that text message. Third quarter in the AFL, Brisbane leading Western Bulldogs 43-40. It's the dinner break at the first test on day 2 in Perth. Australia 8 for 310 after India made 198. Super Rugby is underway. The Brumbies have scored. They lead the Reds 7-0. If you want to listen, Canberra Sport Digital or ABC Canberra button on ABC. Listen, Declan Byrne and the team with the call down there. And in the NBL elimination final, Perth trailing Melbourne United 53-44 at half time.
They're streaming out at the moment. I know.
It's hammering rain.
It's not been there after Seagulls, but there's still 10 minutes to go.
I reckon they would have stayed if it wasn't as wet as it is. But there are plenty leaving the grandstands under cover as well. But you're right. Yeah, there's 10 and a half to go. I don't think they're coming back. No, they're 12 down. Oh, I mean, they're 12 down. Anything could happen. 11 away from the halfway line. If I was Andrew, I wouldn't be saying it, that's for sure. As Canberra have the ball right on the halfway line, but they need to change things around the Sea Eagles because they're out on their feet and the Raiders are flying. Hudson Young has it 9 metres inside Manly's territory. 20 in from the western touchline. Out of dummy half goes Brayley. Right-hand side, Horsburgh dummy goes himself, then straightens again, and then takes the tackle 30 away from Manly's line, held up by Jake Trebojevic and his brother Ben. Left-hand side, final play. See Sanders goes to the sky for Saab, loses the ball, and then picked up by Garrick. The knock on Manly, another set here for the Raiders, and they'll start at 11 away from the line. There's going to be time out here. There's bodies everywhere, but Manly are going to challenge this. This was a knock on for sure.
Manly are challenging the decision of a knock on.
Yeah, throw up the stumps.
Breather, if anything else, Ruan.
Yeah, well, looking at it live, it definitely looked like it was a knock-on. I'm just wondering whether they believe there was some interference or there wasn't.
Look at the run here of Ruben Garrick.
Contest, so the old disruptor rule.
Well, they're big on that at the moment, aren't they?
I think Ruben Garrick.
I think when he gets there.
Well, he interferes more with Jason Saab than with Tamale.
Arm of Jason Saab, just need an angle of perspective.
Does that go backwards?
Might be one of those too hard to tell.
Yeah.
On field was a knock on, so they'll at least support the live decision.
Touch the arm, the ball continues to travel forward with Jason's momentum. Captain's challenge is unsuccessful.
There you go. I mean, they got closer than I thought they were going to get. Chris Butler had longer than I thought he was going to. And you were obviously talking about Ruben Garrick with the disruptor, but he didn't really get in the way of Tamale. He got in the way of Saab. He almost put Jason Saab off. So this will be another full set for the Raiders. They have a scrum 12 metres away from Manly's line. There's 9.5 to go. They lead 28 points to 14 as they look to get off to a winning note in 2026. The minor premiers of 2025. They were absolutely devastated with the way they crashed out in the finals in straight sets. Left-hand side they come now. Kaio Weeks. Weeks is 5 away from the line, 10 in from the western touchline. Slowly getting up and playing it for Brayley. Open side, wide first receiver is Hudson Young. He takes the tackle, 9 away from the line, 23 in from the western touchline. Brayley at dummy half again. Sanders first receiver, changes direction. Horsburgh trying to find a way through. Wanted someone to come underneath him there, but he didn't have anyone, so he takes the tackle. Brayley 8 away from the line at dummy half. Right-hand side, Tarpany loses the ball cold. You don't see that every day from the 4-time Malcolm Ingham medalist, and they pick the ball up, the Raiders, after a double knock on, and they tried to score the try through Martin. He wanted a hat-trick, Martin, but it was already the first knock on from the Raiders, and Manly were going to scrum feed 10 away from their own line, trailing 28-14, 8.5 to go.
Yeah, you can see there was a set play to their right, the Raiders, and I've got no doubt that Joe Tarpany was the man to lead that off, to be the first receiver and try and find maybe a sweep runner at the back, but he has a bit of look at the defence. He thinks about what's coming and just comes up with the error.
So Manly coming away from their own end after that scrum feed win, 12 metres away from their line, and Paseka takes it up towards the 20, but it's good defending from the Raiders. They are all over everything now, but a little too good defending because they worked Paseka on the ground there. They just stayed down too long, and Manly get the piggyback. Brooks wants to take it quickly, and once again he doesn't get the connection he'd like, and they only make 12 metres from the kick, and Garrick will take it 32 away from his own line. Tom Trebojevic gets it away, left-hand side. They're 12 metres short of the halfway line. Getting up and playing the ball is Waddell. Left-hand side, Fogarty keeps it alive, Paseka. And Paseka's met by 3 Raiders, held up in the tackle 8 short of halfway. 28 points to 14, the Raiders lead the Seagulls. Jake Trebojevic dummies, goes himself, takes the tackle a metre inside halfway. They come open side right now. Fogarty gets it away to Brooks, cuts out a couple. It's desperation, but it's off the boot of Saab. He might have thought about kicking it again. Still going, Jason Saab, 20 away from the line. The pass wasn't the best one, but it just cannoned off the feet of Saab. It's touched a Raider as well. Manly gets 6 again. There's bodies everywhere. Brooks is down. There's a Canberra player down as well, and Saab is stretching as well. So they're out on their feet, but Manly are only 17 away from the line. If they can score here, it might be game on. Jake Trebojevic runs closely off Fogarty, and he takes the tackle 8 away from the line. Brooks is at first receiver, left-hand side. Tom Trebojevic, Tola Kola scores in the corner. 6 minutes 50 to go. 28 points to 18. They can get back to within 8 here, Manly, but it is still a long way back with a kick from the corner. But that was better from the Seagulls, spinning it around, desperation, but they get it in the end, Dino.
Yeah, and it's just some good strength on that edge. Tolukola, the show long hit short there. I think it was Trebojevic that threw that pass, but it was really good shape on that short side. Tolukola, he gets through the line. The Raiders, without Ethan Sanders throughout the majority of that set, playing short all over the place, trying to readjust. They couldn't do it in time. So Manly have got a glimmer of hope once again. They'll go for the quick attempted conversion here.
Ruan Sims, maybe it's not quite all over.
No, well, this is going to be a really difficult conversion here from the sideline in this weather. I'm sure all the fans behind him will be willing this one home. This is a really big kick for Fogarty. I'll tell you what, he looks like he's up for it, though. There's still 8 points to get in just over 5.5 minutes.
Metre inside that eastern touchline. There's actually plenty of Raiders fans behind him as well, trying to put him off, but he strikes this beautifully, Jamal Fogarty. nails it. 28 points to 20. 5.5 minutes to go at Brookie. Can the Sea Eagles find a way back? Plenty of fans have decided they can't as they continue to stream out at Brookvale Oval, and the rain has tumbled down for 80 minutes. There's still plenty of the faithful here though. Heaps of Raiders fans have made the journey up as well. Around the grounds, the Brumbies have scored again against the Reds. They lead 12-0. If you want to listen to that Brumbies game, Canberra Sport Digital or the ABC Canberra button on ABC Listen. In the AFL, third quarter, Brisbane leading Western Bulldogs 49-47. Australia still 8 for 310 at the the dinner break after India made 198 in the women's test in Perth. And the Wildcats lead Melbourne 59-58 in the NBL elimination final. Back here at Brookvale, it is the Raiders 28, Manly 20, 5 minutes 20 to go. Jake Trbojevic, they're 12 metres away from their own goal line. They have to go coast to coast. Kohler, he's away over the 30-40 halfway. He's got Weeks to beat. He's got Turbo on the inside. Weeks, oh, beautiful covering tackle from Weeks, but Turbo's still going, and now he offloads, and Manly have scored. Can you believe it? 2 tries in 2 minutes. It's Jamal Fogarty against his former club, and it's 28 points to 24 with a kick to come at Jason to the right-hand upright, and less than 5 minutes to go. Dean Hallertau, how much do we love this sport?
Yeah, hot potato football from the Manly Seagulls. They go to their left, and Tolu Kola gets a one-on-one situation with Ethan Strange. He's able to get on the outside, throw the defender. We know how dynamic a runner he is, but he's super strong as well. He pushes him off with ease, positions Tom Trbojevic nicely on the inside for the assist, but then Trbojevic gets ground up by the cover tackles. He finds support in Jamal Fogarty, who you said goes beside the post, and once again the quick conversion attempt.
Ruben Garrick with the conversion on this occasion, just to give Fogarty a bit of a rest after the backup there. Oh, that was a beautiful run from Kohler down the left-hand side. Rue, we'll come to you in a moment, but Ruben Garrick is wanting to take this one fairly quickly. 28 points to 24 with just under 5 to go. This will make it a 2-point ball game. 28-26, Rue.
Well, Manly, they're going back to the way they started the game. Pace, intent was absolutely fantastic. And that move was actually called. I was standing here watching Fogarty yell out to the players behind him, calling that call. It was second play shift, and they did it so brilliantly. It was Jake Trbojevic with some really great ball movement, and the pace of Kohler on the end there was absolutely fantastic. And what a game Fogarty's having.
Yeah, he was a bit quiet, wasn't he, for the first sort of 20-25 minutes of his second half. But, geez, he's got back into it again. That first half he was outstanding, and then it was almost like him and Ethan Sanders swapped jerseys at halftime, and Ethan Sanders was the one that was absolutely flying. But how the momentum can just swing on a dime in this game is incredible. And Manly have gone back-to-back 2 tries in a minute, and there's 4.5 to go, and they only trail by 2 at home, the Sea Eagles. Here's Bullymore. The fans are going to get behind them now, the Sea Eagles. He'll play it for Simpkin. Left-hand side, Paseka. 31 metres away. Where else would you be on a Saturday night than listening to this NRL Saturday on ABC Sport with Ruan Sims, Dean Hallertau, Glenn Lauder. Manly are away again, but they've lost the ball. Kohler, he's lost it as he was trying to get up and play the ball under pressure from Horsburgh, and that might be the last roll of the dice for the Sea Eagles with just under 4 to go. Kohler made another strong run down the right-hand side this time, and he just bobbled it as he landed on the ball awkwardly. They're going to... Well, they can't challenge this. No, they're just having a timeout because there's another Manly player who's struggling here with, it looks like cramp, but it'll be a Canberra scrum feed just on halfway down. Yeah, and it's Corey Horsburgh come across on the cover tackle. It was another set play from Manly and injecting that man Tolu Kohler with his blistering pace into a little a hang play. It wasn't quite a sweep with the outside runner taking a bit of space. He gets through off the fend on Ethan Sanders, but the cover defence comes across, and again, it was really important that Corey Horsburgh really shored things up. The pressure of the ball on the ground comes free, and Tola Kawatu there, the treatment through the calf, bit of deep heat to get him going. Yeah, let's hope it is cramp and not a calf injury for Hamole Olakawatu. So important for this Manly side. Only played 15 games last year. He had that dislocated shoulder, of course, at the back end of 2025. But, geez, there's plenty of cream on the back of that. That'll be hot. You want to rub that in your face. maybe he's done it on purpose. So if there's a Canberra player underneath him in a tackle, they get a big waft of deep heat across the face. He finds his way into the scrum. He's struggling, isn't he? Big Hamole. 3:40 to go. Canberra 28, Manly 26. NRL Saturday on ABC Sport. Right-hand side they go. Sasangi's had a really good game for Canberra as well. He's 8 metres inside Manly's territory. Plays it. They come back open side left. Smithies takes the run. Good drive as well. Post contact sees him 32 away from Manly's line. Left-hand side Horsburgh. Horsburgh gets away from a couple. He's only 20 away from the line now. 3:15 to go. The Raiders holding on to a 2-point lead. Brayley at dummy half. Right-hand side short one off the ruck. This is almost jumper, a ball under the jumper time here for the Raiders as the Smithies plays it left-hand side. Sanders dummies goes himself. Takes the tackle 2 away from the goal line. Final play. Brayley dummy half. Left-hand side. And Manly force the Raiders into a 6th tackle. It is a changeover, and with 2 minutes 48, the referee calls time off, and Tom Trebojevic will play it 5 away from the line, and Saab can take it up to the 10-metre line. 2:40 to go. Can Manly go coast to coast again? Bullymore. Dummies goes himself, takes the tackle, 12 away from the line. Back into the middle, Ben Trebojevic. Strong carry, 22 away, centre field. The ground announcer willing the Seagulls on. Jake, that's a forward pass to Ethan Bullymore, and the referee's called it. Jake puts his hands on his head, he knows it. That was a quite obviously forward pass, and Manly just trying to rush things a little bit, trying to come up with the impossible plays, and Canberra get the scrum feed. Dino 30 away from Manly's line, and they lead by 2, the Raiders.
Yeah, well, and Rowan identified this before with Jake. It's his movement through the middle of the field that's so critical in setting up their shifts. He shows inside, he looks outside, throws a really good sweep pass. On that occasion, a little bit of a dummy. The double pump back on the inside is what gets the timing out, and the forward pass, as you called it, quite obvious.
Just a reminder, 0467 920 222. We are on air until 10 Eastern Daylight. Get your text messages in after the game, and Rue and Dino will get back to you. Here we are with the Raiders leading by 2, 1:40 to go, and they have the ball about 11 metres away from the goal line through Smithies. They play the ball, they go right-hand side now, and they're 7 away from the goal line here. Canberra trying to put the icing on the cake, but Starling is held, and now Brayley at dummy half gets it away to Noah Martin, who's got 2 this evening. Martin has it 2 away from the goal line, gets up slowly to play the ball. Starling is in more of a playmaking role here now, but it's Horsburgh with the ball, and he has it 5 away from the line. Brayley's still at dummy half. It's the last play for the Raiders here. Just over a minute to go. Sanders gets it away, and now Strange tries to find a way through, but it's the last. They're happy to take the tackle 6 away from the goal line and make Manly have to work away. 1:05 to go. 28-26 touchline. Rowan Sims.
Yeah, well, look at the Raiders here just compressing up their D. They need to make sure they stay nice and clean so they hang on to this lead. They do not want to give a piggyback away, but here you go, Manly shifting to the right.
Yeah, they have to, don't they? Corey Waddell tries to make something out of nothing. 28 away from his own goal line, where he's finally brought down by Young. They come back open side left now, and Reuben Garrett gets the pass away back to Waddell, backing up again. He takes 2 tackles in a row. Waddell on his back, 31 away from his own line. Fogarty at first receiver. There's 34 seconds to go. They spin it left. They've got numbers as well. Kohler, actually, Canberra started to scramble well, but they keep it alive. Ben Trebojevic now towards the middle, 2 metres short of the halfway line. 20 seconds to go. Left-hand side, scooting out of dummy half is Turbo. Can they go for a 2-point field goal with 14 to go? Fogarty! It looks okay. Does it have the legs? No! It bounces just to the left and just short of the goal line. It's a penalty. They were inside the 10, the Raiders. Manly will get a penalty on the 30-metre line right in front, and Fogarty or Garrick I would say Fogarty will have a chance here to level it up at 28 all, Dino.
Well, what about the drama here to finish the game? And Liam Kennedy is adamant about the penalty. The Raiders, hands on hips, hands in the air, asking the questions. It looks like Fogarty's going to be the man to take the kick, and his position, 28 metres out. It's almost a throw. I don't want to say no. Oh, wow, what about the drama to finish the game? And the faithful that have stuck around are glad that they did, because this is tense.
They're going to cause a riot trying to get back into the ground. Yeah, the Raiders were offside. They knew what was happening. They knew it was going to be the possible 2-point field goal, so they raced out of the line. And, yeah, unfortunately for the Raiders, offside. Oh, this is high drama. They shouldn't have left with 12 to go, Ruth.
No, they should have stuck around, but I tell you what, at least we're still here. We're being treated to an absolute show in this second half. We've seen everything. The Raiders came out of the block strong. Manly have hit back well. Drama to finish, and Fogarty has the opportunity to send this one into extra time.
Lucky we're on air till 10, because we might have some free footy after this if Fogarty can hit this one. 29 metres out. We'll let the Sea Eagles crowd tell the story. They go up. The Sea Eagles fans celebrate. Fogarty nails it. 28 all. Full time at Brookvale. And Manly have come back late in this one. 2 tries in 2 minutes in the 73rd and 74th minutes. And then a penalty right on full time to send it to Golden Point.
Well, it's going to be so hard to see who's going to get the victories here in this extra time, because the Manly Sea Eagles have really wrestled back the momentum. It's gone either way throughout the entire match, and they certainly have the ascendancy at the moment. The Raiders are regrouping, trying to see what it is they can come up with. Liam Kennedy's got the 2 captains at the middle now as they're tossing the coin. Young with the decision to make.
Yep, so Canberra are kicking, and Manly, they'll stay the same way. So Manly will get first use of the ball, running towards the southern end at Brookvale Oval. And it's a big decision, isn't it? Kicking off first in Golden Point. And if Manly get a roll on from this restart, they could be the first team to find themselves in good field position. This is an important defensive set for the Raiders.
Yeah, there's so much to think about when you like to kick off, so you want to back your defence, but Manly have really rolled downfield this past 10 minutes. And there's a lot of energy out of the tank of the Raiders. You almost would have loved to have had possession so that you can, put the opposition under pressure.
Ruan Sims, Golden Point in the first round of the season when they're already out on their feet. Who's got the legs here?
Oh, I know, it's anyone's game, but I tell you what, the home side are getting plenty of energy from the Bob Fulton stand. They're all on their feet, giving them a round of applause. If that doesn't get you fired up as a home side, I don't know what will.
Yeah, it's been outstanding from the fans who have hung around. We've mentioned the rain on quite a few occasions. It has consisted all evening. It's still very warm. The humidity is through the roof. I reckon Dino and I have lost a couple of kilos up here with the sweat. It's like a Finnish sauna. We have got our shirts on though, so that's a bonus. As the Manly Sea Eagles are 20 away from their own goal line. Can they get into good field position at the end of this set? It's a long wide ball to Jake Trebojevic. Fogarty gets it away to Garrick. Garrick tries to make yards. He's brought to ground 35 away from the line. The Raiders were trying to put him into touch. He's 5 inside the western touchline. Waddell's been really good in this second half as well. 7 short of the halfway line. He plays the ball for Simkin. Left-hand side for Jake Trebojevic. Brooks. Tom Trebojevic takes the tackle. 7 inside Raiders territory. Final play, so they'll have to get a decent kick in here. Fogarty, it's a high bomb. He's come up with a few that Weeks hasn't handled tonight, but Weeks takes this one well, 9 away from his line, and then he's brought to ground 18 away, 20 in from the eastern touchline.
Yeah, this is what I talk about. The Raiders, they end up letting them downfield quite comfortably, so it was an attacking kick, and now 1, 2, 3, 4 still walking back behind play. The energy is really out of the Raiders tanks.
It's the outside backs who are going to have to do it here. Tamale on play 3, 31 away from his own line. Brayley, dummy half left now for Hudson Young. That's a good carry from Young. And gets the offload to Weeks, who bounces away from one. And on play 4, they'll find themselves 3 inside Manly territory. So that is a great play there from Young. Right-hand side goes Starling. It is the final play, and they're 36 metres inside, away from Manly's line. Sanders goes for the field goal. Ethan Sanders, it's good! Ethan Sanders from 33 away breaks Manly's heart and celebrates the victory for the Raiders. The rookie halfback who came in to replace Jamal Fogarty. It's just his 5th NRL game, only 2 games last year, and the replacement gets the field goal that will give Canberra the 2 points to start the season. The referees have got to clear it. They're hanging around, but it looked good, and the Raiders celebrated, Dino.
Yeah, and I said that it was a weird thing.
Here we go.
It's in the books, but well, how calm was Ethan Sanders to kick that? Like, it didn't feel like much was happening. Then the offload, a few extra metres, and they set it up really nicely. There wasn't any pressure coming on him. He just took his time, slotted it off the left foot, and got a great piece of it. It was a bit of a slice of a kick, but he shaped it really well, straight through the sticks, and the youngster, the rookie, gets the job done. The Raiders break the hearts of the home fans. What a finish to this game, and composure again from the Raiders to get it done.
Well, he made his NRL debut against Manly back in 2024 at 5'8" for the Parramatta Eels. And today, as a halfback, he has got the winning field goal. Remarkable from the Canberra Raiders. You thought Manly had the momentum in that second half when they scored the 2 late tries and the penalty goal. Let's get straight down to Ruwan Sims for some immediate reaction.
Thanks very much. I've got Hudson Young with me. Hudson, that second half had everything. You guys came out and then shot out of a rocket to start off. Manly fought back, and then Ethan Sanders, cool as a cucumber right at the end, just slots it.
Yeah, it's fair play to Sanders. He's coming into this team with a lot of expectation on him, and I was just so proud the way he controlled the team, so composed in their moments. In the NRL at the moment, it's really hard when you lose momentum to sort of come back, and it's about time we got a bit of luck.
What did Ricky have to say in that halftime break? Because you must have felt when Martin scored, you're only 8 points behind. Considering how little possession you had, you felt like you were right in it.
Yeah, 100%. I think it was like 120 tackles to maybe 18 or something at halftime. So we just spoke about trying to even that up, play a bit of position and possession, earn the right to play our footy, and we've got so many strike players across the team. Just let them do their thing.
When you go for that extra time, you get the opportunity, you kick off or you receive. What's your thought process when you choose kick off?
Yeah, I've always wanted to do one of them tosses, and I always said if I get the opportunity, I want to defend first, because I feel like you can really go after them in your defence and get a crack the first set, which we did.
Mate, first game of 2026, first trip away, first win. Good luck next week. Go and enjoy it.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you to all our fans for sticking with us and keep lining for 2026.
Absolutely. Good luck next week.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done, Hudson. That's really interesting, isn't it, Dino? He planned to win a toss in Golden Point. He planned to kick off to back his defence.
Yeah, I question it, but the intention was there, and that they set themselves up for that drop goal attempt, and they got it done. And it was a great attitude. I love to hear that from Hudson Young. He's a real leader of that team, right? And he's had a really successful last few years personally, and he took the bull by the horns, and they've done a great job.
Let's get back down to Roo.
Thanks very much. I've got Jamal Fogarty down here with me. Jamal, it wasn't the result, but you have to be impressed with the fight back.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, we got out to a pretty good start there, but the team that they are, obviously, that you got to play for the full 80, and we probably gave them a bit too much of a head start. At the back end of that first half, they had a little bit of momentum, even though the scoreboard didn't reflect that. And then the way they started the first half, we just weren't ourselves. But then that last, 15, 20-minute period, that's the team we want to be. And just the resilience to be able to claw it back, to be within 2, and then to put one over to go to extra time. And obviously, we just need a little couple of areas that we get fixed up. But it's a great start for round 1. We got a lot of belief in the squad here, and got a lot of good stuff that we can take out of tonight into next week.
Dodgy conditions. The rain, of course, has stopped right now that the game is over. But I was really impressed with your guys' willingness to move the ball about cleanly in this kind of weather.
Yeah, we got speed out wide. Obviously, with Tolu, Sabi, Ruben Garrick and Hopper, we got speed there. So we want to try and free them up as much as possible. And I thought Brooksy and Turbo did a fantastic job, like you said. The conditions were very wet, but we knew we got good skill. We practiced that in the off season to back ourselves, and it showed there tonight. We just come up a little bit short.
Well, the game had a little bit of everything. It'll be a great week at training, and you get a chance to turn it around next week.
Yeah, that's right. It's a good way to start the season. It's only round one. We still got 23 games to go. As long as we can keep building and evolving our game each and every single week. But the main part for us as a club, we've got to have fun, right? We sign up as little fellas that make sure we're having fun, and we're playing a style that reflects that.
And you have to say, your first game here as a Manly Sea Eagle, was the crowd everything you thought it would be?
It was awesome, very awesome. Got my mum and dad, Dibs down, and a couple of family members from Queensland to come down. So very special night. It's great that the fans turned out. It was a great day all day, and then the rain come in and didn't scare anyone off, and they got a good game of football for us. So hopefully, I know there's a good support crew up here. Hopefully they can just keep turning up for the team.
Yeah, we appreciate your time. Good luck next week.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thanks, Jamal. Yeah, Newcastle at home next week. Ethan Sanders is over there with the TVs, Roo, over on the 20-metre line. So I reckon we need to probably get the man of the moment after he's finished with the host broadcaster. But Dean Hallertau, while we're waiting for Ethan Sanders, let's go through our ABC Player of the Year points.
Okay, for the 1 point, I'm going to go to Tolu Kola for the Manly Sea Eagles. I thought he injected himself really well in the game and was instrumental in the fight back and just looked dangerous with every touch. I'll go 2 points to Noah Martin. I thought he contributed great 2 tries, and then 3 points. I'm going to go to the man who was about to speak, to Ruan Sims.
Thanks very much, Dino. I've got the man of the moment, Ethan Sanders, with me. Ethan, your 6th game of NRL, and you look like it was your 600th. You were so cool and calm. Did you love it?
Yeah, like I just said before, I sort of just love playing with these boys and love training with them. There are a bunch of boys that I looked up to watching footy as a young kid, so I just don't want to let these boys down, and I got a lot of respect for them.
When you saw Papa go off and you knew he wasn't coming back, it was always going to be really tough through the middle, but everybody stood up and just took that little bit of extra responsibility on.
Yeah, we got a bunch of leaders in the middle there. You got Red, Taps, obviously, Tommy, Hutto, Posco, boys like that. If one goes down, we got heaps of boys on the bench that'll come in and fill that role. It's sort of not laid on one person, they sort of share the role. So yeah, I got faith in all the boys.
I like the way, especially your halves, you're not just sticking to each side, you're playing together a lot, you're connecting, and I think that really creates some great opportunities out wide for you.
Yeah, definitely. We sort of try to bring that in the off season. We sort of thought that we didn't want to be stuck on one side of the field and just be robots. We want to play free footy, and I've got blokes like Strangey and Kay that can sort of split games open. So anytime I can get them the ball, it's a win.
And considering how terrible the conditions were, your back three basically caught everything that got thrown at them. Aside from a couple of real torpies, they were really, really strong for you guys tonight.
Yeah, Jamal was hitting them sweet there, and I definitely wouldn't be like getting under them. So they did an awesome job.
And Hudson Young, he's found a kick of recent times. He's getting a little kick happy, but I tell you what, they're coming off.
He backs himself at training to do sort of stuff like that, so yeah, I'm not surprised.
Backs himself for the toss as well, so he said he always wanted to do that, and you guys were defending first, but geez, it came up trumps.
Yeah, definitely. Hutto was awesome.
Thanks for your time. Go and enjoy it, mate.
Will do, thank you.
Yeah, well done, Roo. Thank you very much. Great work down there. Thanks to Ethan Sanders. That was a really refreshing interview. A young kid, obviously, playing in his 6th NRL game, just 22 years of age. And, to have the ice running through the veins there, Dino, from 32 metres out to win the game, that was outstanding.
Yeah, and again, it was just the calmness with which he went about that kick. He didn't panic. He didn't feel pressured. He just took his time and put it exactly where he wanted to put it. And, he summed it up really well. It was a strong performance through the middle when they needed it, with the loss of their leader in Papali'i, but then they were, had some really good contributions in the outside as well. I didn't give any points to Kyle Weeks. I thought it was outstanding. The back three, Tamale, he had spiders on every time he touched the ball. Xavier Savage had some really good touches and played strong. Simi Sasangi, he's become a bit part player. He can cover many positions. He's played 6 for them last year in big football matches when they needed it. But
in the prelim.
Yeah, in the prelim, right? And he had to do that at a moment's notice. He's playing in the centres up against the speedster in Tolu Kola, and he held his own for the most most part. So, there's really positive signs across the park for the Raiders, and I think that's a really good platform for them to launch into their season.
Yeah, he played on the edge as well at times for Canberra last year. He's such a versatile player. He's a big body to have in the centres as well. 0467 920 222. Graham from Taree says, wow, what a game. No name on this one, but gents, game of the round. Ms. Sims was right. A fit turbo going to make for a good season. Tamale crabbing sounds spicy. Yeah, thank you. And there's a couple other here. Let me go up to Brian from Umina says, why do we have a problem with a draw? Brian, I don't disagree with you. I'm a traditionalist. I think the draw has a place in the game, but if we share a point each at the end of 80 minutes, we miss out on drama like that. I think teams deserve a point at the end of 80 minutes if they're equal.
I've always enjoyed the golden point. I like the tense nature of it, and you get a result if it goes that way. I'm happy with it, and it's been around for such a long time that I don't know any different.
Incredible drama. Yeah. I reckon something maybe slightly fairer could be both teams get a point, and then the winner in golden point gets an extra point.
Maybe.
Okay.
I'm used to the way it is.
Yeah, I know. And it's obviously the excitement and the spectacle for fans and on television as well is well worth it. Hey, how you going? Great call as always, including all levels of rugby league club state test. Was the Peter Kelly send off in the Anzac Day game quicker than 8? I don't know. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that.
You didn't call that one?
No, Peter Kelly was maybe a year before I was. Brian, we've got that one. This one's just Ethan Sanders. Oh my God! And I think that one sums it up because that was just outstanding from a kid. We've spoken about it a few times, but for a 22-year-old,
sort of the game really evolved for him. Like early on, I mentioned about the edges of the Seagulls really powering through, looking at the 6 and the 7 for the Raiders, and he got bumped a few times. He's got a really big man coming in, and I think he was on Olakuatu's side. So Olakuatu's just charging at him all game, and he's got to get the shoulder in front. He got bumped a few times. He was a bit slow getting up, but then he has to turn his attention. Okay, what's my job as the half? It's to steer the team around the park. And as the game went on and they got themselves back in it, he did that really well in combination with Ethan Strange. I thought it was a really good half and 6 combination throughout the game. Tom Starling did a really good job. You picked that up of directing them through the middle and giving them early ball, and he scored his try off a really nice show and go with good shape. There was so much to like about his game, and you had to do it tough, so it was really pleasing.
Rue's just joined us back in the box, and that was exactly the thing I was going to ask you about, Rue. The way that Tom Starling started their attacking momentum out of dummy half, because he was so quick out of dummy half, he was taking a couple of steps, he was getting the markers out of position off guard, and then that was giving Sanders and Strange so much go forward.
Yeah, it all flows. It all flows off each other. So if the forwards aren't running hard, the 9 can't ever jump out because defenders are always set, markers are set, and they've got no opportunity. But as a forward, as a front rower, if you can get, or as a forward just in general, if you can get a really fast play the ball and then you leave someone on the ground or the markers aren't quite set, the defensive line is still making their way back, that is when a really good 9 will just pick it up and go, right, let's go. And then that's where your momentum and your role comes from. So I just sort of found in that second half, particularly the start of that second half, that's where Canberra just made inroads because they started running harder. They had a bit more energy in the tank because they didn't defend for 12 minutes straight. So they had a bit more energy in the tank. So whatever Ricky said to them at halftime, whatever was in that Gatorade or Powerade or drink, the coloured drink,
the coloured drink,
it works.
Yeah. There are other products available,
whatever's in the coloured drinks.
It was interesting to hear, just going on to Manly as well, because we've obviously given Canberra the plaudits that they thoroughly deserve, but it's interesting when you were speaking to Jamal Fogarty, and you did mention that there were a lot of good signs. That second half, they were, and we did sort of joke about it in commentary that it was probably over. Canberra scored those quick tries, but Manly did really well in that second half to get back into the game and send it to golden point.
Yeah, they certainly did, and I think you guys also said this in the first half. They missed the beat by not being able to consolidate their position with a few more points. And so when Martin scored, and I think I said this to Hudson Young, when he scored, they felt like they were still in it. You could tell by their body language. And I think that's really important. And I think Jamal even said that. He said, they had momentum, the Raiders. So the fact that Manly were able to rest momentum and come back and bite back and fight back to take it to extra time, that's really special because I think Hudson even said this, in the modern game, it's hard to wrestle back control control when you lose it or when you get that flow of momentum go against you. It's really difficult to turn the tide. So I think there's really good signs. I mean, 2 tries in a minute. It's pretty impressive.
It was a great chat you had with Jamal. Just listening to him and his positivity about where they're at. It's probably different to what people on the outside are thinking. For Manly, there's probably been a bit of criticism around them over the last few years, and they lose their leader in DCE. They get a great replacement in Jamal Fogarty, but he seems to bring a lot of positivity and belief in what they're trying to achieve. And early on, when they were shifting the ball, there was a question from one of our listeners: are they shifting the ball too much under these conditions? But it was coming up with results.
It was purposeful.
Yeah, it was purposeful.
It wasn't just trying to skirt around the problem. It was creating.
Yep. Definitely.
All right, well, that was an outstanding 1-point game, golden point. The earlier game this afternoon wasn't quite as close. Cronulla, a big win over the Titans. Let's hear from Luke Lewis and Andrew Moore.
Glenn, it was really over at half-time, wasn't it, with the Sharks leading 34-0 at the break. In the end, they scored 9 tries to 2 to Will Kennedy, Britton Nickera, Jesse Ramian, 2 to Braden Trindle, 1 to Nico Hines in the first half. And in the second half, 3 more tries to Jesse Ramian, Sione Katoa, and also Nico Hines got a double. So 3 players got doubles. Hines kicked 7 goals from 9 attempts. For the Gold Coast, their only points came in a 5-minute period early in the second half, with tries to both Sam Verrills, the hooker, who was later injured in the game, and also to winger Siali Fayamani. He scored a try. Lachlan Ilias 1 from 2. Ilias and Tino Fa'asuamala-Awi both placed on report, as was Britton Nickera for Cronulla. 50 points to 10 win before a Shark Park crowd of 11,548. Former Sharks premiership winner Luke Lewis. It was as good as over after Kennedy scored a minute 50 in, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. The way that the boys played, that first 40 minutes was amazing, but you could sort of see it in the first 10, 15 minutes. The way that they were playing, they were running hard, they were running direct, they were setting up the field nicely, they were causing all sorts of havoc to the Gold Coast Titans defensive line, and their options in attack were beautiful. Braden Trindle was outstanding. The way that he played, he was playing nice and square, he was threatening with the run, he had his dummy going, his kicking game was brilliant. Nico Hines was just flowing off the back of it perfectly. Will Kennedy looked like he had spiders on him. Every time he ran the ball, even coming out of his own end, he looked like he was making half breaks. So, look, they had a brilliant first 40 minutes. They will be a little bit disappointed letting that 10 points in. That was just the energy levels that sort of dropped out of the game, but that game was won within the first 25 minutes.
Yeah, and that was so impressive. And as is highlighted by your ABC Player of the Year points, 3 key members of that back line all stood up and stood out for the Sharks.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought Will Kennedy at fullback was absolutely perfect tonight. His organisation of the defensive line was spot on. In his running game, he was threatening every time. His combination with Tricky is absolutely beautiful to watch, and they're getting better and better every game. And I feel like Nico has really found his way and how to insert himself into the game when Braden's getting the ball. And the other thing is their setup plays. The way that they're setting up to play and the way they're carrying the ball, they've got threats everywhere. The 2 guys we just spoken about, and obviously Will Kennedy at fullback, but you've got to remember Blake Brayley out of dummy half. He's a threat as well. Every time there's a half, quick play the ball, he's gone. He's threatening out of dummy half. So they've got everything covered at the moment, the Sharks.
And Louis, the Gold Coast, they've been down the bottom of the table the last few years, and Desi Hasler, or near the bottom of the table, Des Hasler lost his job at the end of last year. Josh Hannay, who everyone has raps on, takes over. Gosh, he's got some work in front of him, though, doesn't he, based on that performance?
Yeah, he's got a lot of work in front of him. For me, the biggest and then the scariest sign is that they've just done a pre-season. They've come up here in round 1 and had no energy, and they look tired and unfit. So I don't know what that is. Was it nerves? Was it Shark Park? I don't know what it is, but yeah, they look like they did not want to be here tonight. So that's disappointing as a Titans fan to sit there and watch that and what they tossed up tonight.
Louis, catch you tomorrow in the boardroom.
Can't wait, mate.
All right, thank you, Luke Lewis. So 50-10, the final score, Glenn, in favour of Cronulla Sutherland over the Gold Coast Titans. And history tells you conceding 50 points means you cannot win the comp. So you can put a line through Titans and Parramatta after this weekend. 3 points in the ABC Player of the Year to Braden Trindle, 2 points to William Kennedy and 1 to Nico Hines. But a massive win here for the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks.
Thank you, Andrew. The Brumbies trailing the Reds 2019. ABC Canberra heading off to that one now to listen to the rest of that game. In the AFL third quarter, Brisbane leading Western Bulldogs 81-68. Australia all out for 321. India 2 for 10 in their second innings in the women's test match in Perth. And the Wildcats lead Melbourne United 84-65 in the fourth quarter of the NBL elimination final. Here at Brookie, doubles to Noah Martin, doubles to Xavier Savage, a try to Ethan Sanders. Sanders kicked 4 from 5. For Manly, Tom Trbojevic, Hamole Olakawatu, Tola Taukola and Jamal Fogarty all scored. Fogarty kicked 4 from 5 and Ruben Garrick kicked 1 from 1. In fact, Jamal Fogarty kicked 5 from 5. It finished 29-28 in extra time thanks to the field goal to Ethan Sanders in Golden Point. What a win for the Raiders. Thank you, Dean Hallertau.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you, Ruan Sims.
Thank you, Estee.
Thank you, Nathan Turnbull on the buttons. Thank you to Adam Jones in the studio. Thank you for your text messages as well. But for now, it's good night.
27 away from the Gold Coast line. Last play now for the Sharks. Comes left to Trindle. He puts up the kick. Down to the fullback, Kinney, coming through Stone Street. And the ball's plucked out of the sky by Will Kennedy. He's over to score. Try to Cronulla Sutherland. Wow, that didn't take long. 1 minute and 55 seconds. Plays the ball now to Brayley. Sharky's the chance. Colhoun to Hines. Sent the pass on the ground. Scooped up by Kennedy. Away to Ramian. And he dives over in the corner. Oh, so easy. Cronulla Sutherland all over the Gold Coast. They get a chance down at this southern end. And they score. You can bank on it. 16-0 Sharks. 19 minutes and 10 seconds. John Luke Lewis. Jesse Ramian finished it off.
Never caught game set bingo this early, Andrew, 20 minutes into a game, because they are looking so sharp, the Sharks.
Now comes to the right, Trindle. High kick down for Kinney, 10 metres out, up they find you grab. He came up with it, gave it to Ramian, he gives it to Trindle. Trindle's over to score. It's 6,000 to nil. 11 minutes left. I reckon I'm right, even though the scoreboard says 26-0. Gets it over the 10-metre mark this time. Sione Katoa with a catch 15 metres out, then gets straight past one. He's over to score the try. That was very easy, but Sione Katoa did well. He celebrates with the crowd there in the Northern Hill. And the Sharkies now extend their lead to 44-10. 4 seconds to go. The countdown is on from the Cronulla fans, and I'm sure from the Gold Coast fans as well. That's it. They've won this very convincingly, despite a drop-off in the second half. Cronulla Sutherland 50, Gold Coast 10 after they had led 40-0 early in the second half. They led 34-0 at half-time, and they still score 16 points in the second half. And after one round, it's up at Cronulla here at Shark Park.
Umbrellas everywhere. Left-hand side they come. Brooks, Tom. Tom takes it to the line. Dummies goes himself, and the new captain scores the first try of the season for the Manly Warringah Sea Eagles. 29 away from Manly's line. Hudson Young bounces off 1 or 2, gets it back on the inside for Kyo Weeks. Weeks skips away from a couple, still skipping left to right. What a ball that is for Martin to go over for his second try of the evening. Noah Martin, all he had to do was run off because Kyo Weeks just kept skipping and skipping, and he held that ball up beautifully, and Martin ran straight through the hole. 14 points to 10 with a kick to come. Starling dummy half again, right-hand side. Sanders takes it to the line, gets it away to Weeks. Now Strange, quick hands from Sasangi to Savage, and Xavier Savage! He is a Savage! The Raiders score! It's 16-14. Back-to-back tries for the Green Machine. Brooks is at first receiver, left-hand side. Tom Trbojevic, Tola scores in the corner. 6 minutes 50 to go. 28 points to 18. They can get back to within 8 here, Manly, but it is still a long way back with a kick from the corner. Jake Trbojevic, they're 12 metres away from their own goal line. They have to go coast to coast. Kola, he's away over the 30-40 halfway. He's got Weeks to beat. He's got Turbo on the inside. Weeks, oh, beautiful covering tackle from Weeks, but Turbo's still going, and now he offloads, and Manly have scored. Can you believe it? 2 tries in 2 minutes. It's Jamal Fogarty.
Manly have hit back well, drama to finish, and Fogarty has the opportunity to send this one into extra time.
Lucky we're on air till 10 because we might have some free footy after this if Fogarty can hit this one. 29 metres out. We'll let the Sea Eagles crowd tell the story. They go up. The Sea Eagles fans celebrate. Fogarty nails it. 28 all. Full time at Brookvale. And Manly have come back late in this one. It is the final play and they're 36 metres away from Manly's line. Sanders goes for the field goal. Ethan Sanders. It's good. Ethan Sanders from 33 away breaks Manly's heart and celebrates the victory for the Raiders. The rookie halfback who came in to replace Jamal Fogarty. It's just his 5th NRL game. Only 2 games last year. And the replacement gets the field goal.
Ticket holders.
I wasn't sure if you got a ticket to the pool.
If you're in the gym, you could watch the whole game, the whole
Correct.
day.
And there was multiple people in the pool earlier, count those as well.
Brown steams in, bowls, and Pradika guides it beautifully. Just opens the face of the bat, guides it down through gully. Backward point, all the way to the boundary for 4. Lovely cricket shot. Bit full, bit wide from Brown, and she gets a boundary for it. Moves to 7. Let's watch the scoreboard catch up. 2 for 22.
There's plenty of runs out here, isn't there? Plenty of runs.
I mean, the Australians are happy to concede them at the moment. 2 down.
Yep.
Still got a solid lead. Just over 100. 103. Brown to Pradika, who defends out in front of point. No run.
Just a matter of these 2 Indian batters making decisions about which balls they want to go after, which balls they want to leave, which balls they want to defend. And they need to build a partnership now. You feel like if Australia get a couple more, it's all downhill from here for India. They need to definitely get the biggest partnership of the game.
Pradika beaten down the leg side as she tried to maybe just help it on the way through to Mooney. No run, another dot ball. Just the boundary this over.
Pradika's hit 4 fours in this test, and they've all been down to 3rd.
Oh, there you go. Got the wagon wheel going. My notes don't go. My notes aren't that expensive.
I code the boundaries on the score sheet.
Never cease to amaze me, Rick Finlay. Brown bowls and left alone outside the off stump by Pradika, and another dot ball. So just the boundary and the 4 dots so far. Bit of patience shown, which is what the Indian batters need to do out there to try and just rescue this innings a little bit after that early collapse, really. 2 openers both gone inside 2 overs.
These 2 need to show a bit of fight.
I was like, not ideal to lose both openers early.
No.
Brown bowls, and it's very wide and left alone once again by Pradika. I was going with the whole Annabelle Sutherland is good at cricket.
Yes.
When the whole lose both openers early, it's not ideal. India are 2 for 22. They trail by 103. Pradika is 7. Jemima Rodriguez is 6. I'm going to step out, and Akash Fotodar is going to join you.
This is cricket. Live coverage of Australia versus India from the Wacker. ABC Sport, your home of cricket.